Right, so I've got to remember I'm top now. It's going to be well confusing.
What's the difference then?
I'm top, you're bottom.
Does that make any difference whatsoever?
Yeah, because I've been bottom now for the past 200 episodes, and now finally, baby, I'm on top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only inspiration that I know is that I know where you're knowing where we're going, and we know that we're gonna be apart. We're together now. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. My name is James Rowlands. In 2015, I teamed up with my friend Dan White to create the ever.On podcast. Since then, we have been giving you everything that's happened on the WWE Network. Now, in 2018, not only are we live for the Big Four events and every NXT takeover, but we celebrate 20 years since the birth of the Attitude Era. Plus, every month we'll bring you 205 Live, collections, new content, W pay-per-views and latest news on the WWE Network. Until we've watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR. Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always I'm joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR UK special. But before we explain what we're actually going to do, let's start with the ultimate. Hands on hearts, please. We're going to sing the national anthem. God save our gracious Queen. Long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen, no surrender, send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our Queen.
When that went into Glorious, I thought he was actually going to do the Bobby Roode. Glorious!
Well, it is a glorious national anthem. I'm damn proud to be British, Dan. So,
ever since we started this podcast, the British wrestling scene has flourished. Now, as 2018 comes to an end, there is more UK content than ever. So on this episode, we will rate and review not only NXT UK, but RevPro and the world of sport. So, let's get started.
Yeah, so let's get started. The first question is how big is UK wrestling? And let's just have a look at how many promotions and come actually in the UK at the moment. Because, you know, when we were growing up, Dan, let's speak about it. You know, you went to the local kind of the hall or anything nearby, if it was in Canterbury, Herne Bay area, whenever it was. And you'll just have like kind of very small promotion, maybe one big star from, you know, the old WF days, as in like an Earthquake or a Jim the Anvil Nineheart or someone like that.
Or as what happened a couple of days ago, you had James Storm come into Canterbury to wrestle in quite a smallish hall, but it was an independent thing and you get a meet and greet. And we appreciate those smaller venues because you get a chance of a bit of one-on-one FaceTime with potential future wrestling stars.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the good thing about it, because even if it's the young up-and-comers, you know, you talk about the rest of the promotions as well, is like sometimes it can be just old WWF kind of wrestlers or WWE wrestlers, and sometimes they kind of create their own identity and do it themselves. And I think at the moment, like say, wrestling flourishing, let's just have a kind of name check of all the promotions. So we start off with 3 Count Wrestling, 3CW. They're based in Middlesbrough, owned by Mike Groom, and they formed in 2004.
You've got Forefront Wrestling, which is 4FW. They're based in Wiltshire, and they was started by David Sharp in 2004 as well.
You've got Alpha Omega Wrestling, which is based in Morecambe, with Kieran Enkel, started in 2015.
You've got Amp Wrestling in Coventry, and that was started by James Meikle and Corey Vandal in 2008, and they're a sister promotion of Triple X Wrestling.
You've got All Action Wrestling, which is from North Shields, up Newcastle area. Tony Spitfire, 2007 till now.
What a glorious
I know,
name
fucking
that is.
brilliant.
You've got All Star Wrestling, which was from Liverpool. That was started by Brian Dixon in 1970, and that is a UK wrestling promotion.
All Star Wrestling is pretty well known because you must have seen them if anybody's ever gone to a holiday camp, either with Haven or Pontins, Butlins, whenever it is. All Star Wrestling's kind of promotion that does all the holiday camp circuits. So he's been going around for years now doing that, and a lot of kind of, like you say, ex-WF stars, and they usually battle royals and stuff like that. But like I said, the longest running UK promotion. You've got Alternative Wrestling World, which is in Birmingham, by Kevin, and that's 2003 to now. So a lot of these companies be going, like I said, over 10 years at this point.
Yes, you've got Attack, with an exclamation point, Pro Wrestling, and that is Cardiff, Bristol and Cheltenham, and that was started by Chris Brooks in 2011, and it was founded by Pete Dunne and Jim Lee in Birmingham in 2011.
Yeah, very interesting. You got Bellatrix Female Warriors in Norfolk and Essex. You have Saraya Knight. Of course, we all know who she is as well. Dan, do you want to tell people?
That is Paige's mum.
Yes, it is indeed. Female-only wrestling promotion, originally known as World Association of Women's Wrestling, up until the 1st of January 2013.
You've got the Best of British Wrestling from Essex, and that is started by Stuart Lake and Steve Morocco in 1996.
British Extreme Championship Wrestling from Croydon, Ben and Nicole Lawrence from 2003 to now.
You've got British Empire Wrestling, and that's from London, and that was started by Declan Kellett and Tim Burkett in 2014.
British Real Attitude Wrestling League in Northamptonshire, Chris Peacock and Jeremy Brown in 2000.
You've got British Wrestling Alliance, and that's from Stoke-on-Trent, and that was started by Chris Matthews in 2006.
You've got British Wrestling Evolution in Essex with Dan Shoesmith, and that was 2011.
You've got British Wrestling Revolution, and that was from Grimsby, started by Kay Smithson in 2017.
And British Wrestling Federation from Southampton, David Matthews in 2012. Now, if you're going to have a British in front of it, Dan, what line of promotions would you pick right now?
What name?
Yeah, no, out of the British wrestling ones that we've got, which one would you go for the most?
I'll probably go for the BWF.
Yeah, I don't mind the BWF, actually, yeah. I think that's a good one.
You've got Combat Sports Federation, CSF, and that's from Avon, started by Stu Nat in 1998.
And Cornish Pro Wrestling from Cornwall, Alice and Terry Speller, 2015 to now.
You've got Complete Revolutionary Wrestling, and that's from Newcastle upon Tyne, started by Ken Clark in 2009.
You got Coventry Pro Wrestling, of course, based in London. Mr. Richards, 2013 to now. Yeah, I know, that's a joke, Dan. That's a joke. I'll leave it in there.
You've got Defiant Wrestling from Newcastle upon Tyne, started by What Culture Limited. Originally ran as What Culture Pro Wrestling from 2016 to 2017, officially rebranded as Defiant Wrestling as of 2017.
Devon Wrestling Association from Dan Devon. I won't make any jokes. 2005 till now.
You got Dropkicks University of Wrestling from Essex, and that started by Lucas Jackson in 2004.
Don't forget that was originally run by Frank Rimmer. Dynamic Championship Wrestling West in Gradation. Fuck knows what that is. Chris Andrews, 2012 to 2014.
You've got Dynamic Over-the-Top Action from East Anglia, started by Alex Burnett in 2013.
You've got Eastern Championship Wrestling. I've heard of that before.
ECW?
Yeah. Blackpool by Shaka Khan. Yeah, it's 1998 until now.
You've got Elevation Wrestling Academy Elite. No, you've got Elevation Wrestling Academy from Leicester, started by Joseph Connors.
Elite British Wrestling from Sheffield, Andrew Hogg and Mark Sanderson.
You got Empress Pro in High Wycombe, started by Ben Ward.
Entertainment Wrestling Association in High Wycombe, where Carl Snook.
Oh, that's High Wycombe.
I know it's High Wycombe, but the guy I know for work calls it High Wycombe, so I've always called it that since.
You've got EPW, European Pro Wrestling from Middlesbrough, started by Chris Diamond.
You've got
2001.
You've got Fight Club Pro from Wolverhampton, started by Trent Seven and Martin Zaki, 2009. Of course, Trent Seven part of Mustache Mountain.
You've got Fight Factory Wrestling from Lincoln. That's started by Hayden Dutch Lovey. in 2013.
Fight League Pro Wrestling, or FLUP, Southwest, Darren Ferguson and Glenn Ferguson in 2017.
You've got Future Championship Wrestling, FCW, from the Midlands, started by Joel Allen, Lee Mark, Massey in 2003.
Future Pro Wrestling in Surrey, Steve Evans, Lee Elmer and Matt Burden in 2010.
You've got Future Shock Wrestling from Greater Manchester, started by Dave Rain in 2004.
Grand Pro Wrestling from Greater Manchester, Johnny Brannigan, 2003 to now.
You've got Great Bear Promotions from Cheshire, started by Gerard Hall in 2012.
Well, Cheshire are known for their bears. Herts and Essex Wrestling, Bishop Stortford, Sam Nee, 2005 to now.
You got House of Pain Wrestling from Nottingham, started by Paul Sticks Green, 2006.
You've got the House of Pain, Evolution Wrestling, Hope, Milton Keynes, Derby, Harvey Dale to 2013 now.
You've got HXC Wrestling from Manchester, England, started by Mike Howe in 2013.
You've got Independent Wrestling Federation from Newcastle, Martin McGurk from 2000 to now.
You've got Infinite Promotions, Liverpool, started by Kieran McConnell and Zach Gibson. Obviously, we know who Zach Gibson is.
The International Wrestling League from London, Ruben Cabral, that's 2018 till now.
You've got Iron Fist Wrestling from Worcestershire and Herefordshire, started by Jake Glittons in 2011.
Everybody likes a bit of fisting, Dan. International Championship Wrestling in Lanarkshire, Kevin Idden, that's 1999 till now.
Big up the Kent, you've got International Pro Wrestling, started by Billy Wood in 2004.
You've got Kamikaze Pro in Birmingham from 2013 till now.
You've got Kapow Pro Wrestling.
Leicester Championship Wrestling from Leicester, John Shipley created that in 2011.
You've got LDN Wrestling from London, started by Sanjay Bagar in 2004.
Limited Edition Promotions Wrestling in Southwest England, Danny Walsh, 2013 to now.
You've got Live Wrestling Entertainment from Essex, started by Phil Powers in 2006, and that is a great name, Phil Powers.
Phil Powers. Lucha Britannia in London by Gary Vanderhorn in 2006.
You've got Main Event Wrestling from Newcastle upon Tyne, started by Daniel Fitch and Michael Brown in 2005.
Maximum Pro Wrestling from Gateshead in 2001.
New Force Wrestling from West London, 2016.
New Generational Wrestling, Hull, Richard Dunn, 2008.
You've got North East Wrestling Society from County Durham, started by Paul Fahey in 2010.
And you got the North Wrestling, the NCL upon time, Andrew Bowers, 2016.
You've got PFP Promotions from Lincolnshire, started by Phil Fogg in 2008.
You got Phoenix Pro Wrestling from West Bromwich, Chris Liston, 2011 to now.
You've got South East Professional Wrestling from Kent again, started by Matthew Huntley in 2013.
Reach Wrestling in Plymouth, Jason Clark and Matthew Bradley Morley.
You've got Premier Promotions from Sussex, started by John Fremantle in 2011.
Wow. Preston City Wrestling, PCW Preston, 2011 to now. Steve Floodler. They've got an event coming this weekend for anybody listening around the area.
You've got Progress Wrestling from London, Jim Smallman, John Brearley and Glenn Joseph in 2012.
That's probably the one most associated with WWE now, with the talent being involved. Pro Wrestling Evolution. Pro Evolution Wrestling in Gloucestershire, Avon, Lee Hall, 2006 to now.
Pro Wrestling Chaos, started by David Yule, Rob Clark and Neil Walcock in 2013.
Pro Wrestling Eve for London, Danny Reed and Emily Reed, a female-only wrestling promotion.
You got Pro Wrestling Kingdom, Birmingham and West Midlands, started by Ryan Small in 2013.
Pro Wrestling Live, West Midlands, Matt Pound, 2007.
Pro Wrestling For You, Stoke Woodvine in 2011.
Rad Pro, South Shields, Georgia Leggett, 2010 till now.
Reloaded Championship Wrestling Alliance, Essex, started by William Osprey in 2012.
You got Rev Pro Wrestling, London and Hampshire, Aidan Cruden and Andy Simmons, 2012.
Yeah.
And the Rev Pro is, of course, something that we used to go see when it was based in Sittingbourne.
We got Riot House Promotions from Gloucester, unknown who started that, but that was in 2016.
Shooting Star Wrestling, Rotherham, John Von Diesel, if that is your real name, step up. 2008.
Shropshire Wrestling Alliance, the SWA from Telford, Shropshire, started by Simon Brown in 2012.
Southside Wrestling Entertainment, Cambridgeshire, Ben Ald, 2010.
Superstars of Wrestling from Cheltenham, started by Matt Jarrett in 2017, and that's MATTJARRETT.
We've got Target Wrestling in Carlisle, Cumbria by the Natras Brothers, 2013 to now.
We've got Tetsuji Hybrid Wrestling from Liverpool, Merseyside, started by Gareth Leather and Craig Hall in 2015.
This is Wrestling, Mansfield, Nottinghamshire, Daryl Heaton, that's 2008.
We've got Thunder Slam Wrestling from Harlow, started by Charlie 2006.
Total Action Wrestling for Milton Keynes by Samsung, 2010. Originally known as Angling Championship Wrestling, 2003.
We've got Triple X Wrestling from Coventry, started by Quentin Hyde Styles and Corey Vandal in 2006.
We've got Ultimate Championship Wrestling from Wiltshire, Gary Humphrey, 2003 to now.
Ultimate Wrestling Alliance from Essex, started by Paul Terrell and Johnny Storm in 1998.
The UKPW Wrestling from Gillingham in Kent.
Yeah, Gillingham.
That's Anton Green, 2010 till now.
Got United Wrestling Live from Stoke-on-Trent, started by Richard Lees, 2008 to present.
You got Varsity Pro Wrestling from Hampshire, Thomas UK Kid Jones, 2005.
You've got White Tiger Wrestling from Middlesbrough, started by Dreamland Theatre Limited, 2017.
And you've got the Wrestling League Essex, Harwich, Colchester, Mark Young.
You've got the Wrestling Association of Rugby from Rugby, started by Andrew Platt and Stuart Platt in 2001.
World Association of Wrestling, East Anglia, Ricky Knight, 1993 till now.
And you've got World War Wrestling from the Southeast.
Yes, www. So, I mean, there is plenty of UK promotions out there. Over 98 wrestling promotions just there. That's not talking about NXT UK, and that's not talking about World of Sport, as what we're going to look at in a little bit as well. So 98. So that is a shitload. For think how small an island UK is, you know what I mean? With Scotland obviously involved in that. That's not counting Irish wrestling promotions either. It's huge, isn't it?
It is massive, yes, and there's a lot of talent floating about, and I think it's brilliant. And not forgetting the one that we made up as well when we used to wrestle when we was teenagers.
Oh yeah,
that in the bedroom wrestling.
I can't remember what it's called now.
The FWF.
The
Future
FWF
Wrestling Federation.
Oh, you remember it? So, and no one's taken our gimmick from that. So WNR and the FWF are still trademarked to us. Experience of going and watching British wrestling just nearby.
Well, my first ever experience was at Haven Holiday Park. I don't remember it too well. The first one that I do remember is going to watch RevPro in the UK, and you know, you may not realise it, but you could potentially be seeing future WWE stars. I mean, it's happened with Apollo Crews, Ricochet, former WWE wrestlers, and that go on to have an even better career at WWE. In your case, Drew McIntyre as well. It is great because, you know, unlike going to the O2 when it comes here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a year, you know, you get to sit ringside or you get to sit in the crowd and you can take photos and that. But when you go and see it, it's a smaller place. There's probably about like 80 to 100 people in attendance. You get to go up and have a few words with potential wrestlers. You could potentially, you know, be at the bar having a drink and a wrestler stands next to you and starts talking to you, you know, in the case of Luke when he came with us.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get more memorable moments meeting people like that as opposed to, you know, doing it when you're at Raw.
Yeah, well, this is, and the price difference is a massive thing as well, because you're paying at least, you know, 40 quid for the O2 if you want, you know, I was going to say cheap seats away, you know, and even then sometimes it costs you a little bit more. With these ones, very reasonable, aren't they? You know, children tickets like £5 maybe. You'll get, you know, front rows probably about 15 quid most of these events, or tenner. And like I said, it seems you're so close to it compared to the kind of WWE experience. And like you said, you can meet up with people, and those wrestlers rely on merchandise sales as well. So you have to meet. You know, they have got T-shirts for sale, and they've got stuff like this. And like I say, the list of people that we have seen, and even people like Apollo Crews that are on the main roster now, and Jay Lethal and other guys like this. You know, we saw them there because that's what they kind of work, and then, you know, they do move up, or sometimes people do drop down and you never see them again. But in the case of like Drew McIntyre and stuff like that, just think how much it would cost to try and get one-on-one with him right now. It's going to be up there. Same with Ricochet. He's one of the hottest things going. So yeah, I would say it's definitely worthwhile, no matter what it is nearby, just to go to support local independent wrestling. We'll talk more about the news later about the kind of future of British wrestling. But we've got a lot to cover on this episode, so let's start off with NXT UK.
Well, we've got the tapings going down on August 25th and 26th in Birmingham, England, and October the 13th and 14th in Plymouth, England. The final set of dates that were announced will go down in Liverpool on November the 24th and 25th.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff has been taped already. A lot of spoilers are out there for everybody who kind of knows what is going on. What WWE is also doing now is releasing 2 episodes a week. So there is a lot of stuff to go through. So there is 12 episodes of NXT UK to catch up on. But I think what's important is we start off with the very first one, which is the 17th of October. Episode 1, and we're just going to kind of experience it. We're going to compare NXT UK product with the World of Sport product, with the RevPro product, and just try and come out and see what the best actually is. And I think the best way of doing that is watching the first episode of each, but also, just trying to get the experience of UK wrestling. So here we go, NXT UK 1.
Before us stands a kingdom. One with an indelible history.
Welcome to Wembley Stadium. Over 80,000 fans.
An unmistakable legacy.
Olympic champion Lennox Lewis. The pride of Hyde. Ricky Hett.
One of the true legends of the British game, Johnny Saint.
But when this kingdom meets a universe.
Every empire has a beginning. Tonight, you build yours.
A new history will be unearthed.
This is your time.
A new flag will be raised.
This is your brand.
The future will redefine its legacy.
United Kingdom.
A kingdom will rise.
And we are NXT.
What do you think of that then, Dan, the opening promo video?
I'm a bit surprised they didn't show Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, they didn't know. But what a great way of WWE to introduce the British product to, I think, the WWE network, because a lot of times people have never seen these guys before, and of course we've got experience with most of them, seeing as we watched the UK tournament first and second time around. But we'll see what happens here. It'd be great to see Pete Dunne involved, sort of another faces, Noam Dar, and also Mandrews we saw, Moustache Mountain, of course. But we start off with in Cambridge, England. So the first set of tapings, we are here for NXT. I don't think they're there live.
I think they are.
I don't think they are live. There's a blue screen behind. We've got Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph. It's a shame Mauro Ranallo can't do it.
Fuck yourself.
Well, episode 1. We watched from 205 Live. Watched 100 episodes of that. And let's start with NXT UK. And our main event tonight, what a main event it is. Pete Dunne versus my man, Noam Dar. Noam Dar is walking out of here tonight, NXT UK champion.
How can you doubt that Nigel McGuinness is in the UK standing in front of a green screen? He's wearing a fucking Blue Peter badge, James.
No, I'm not.
Them things don't work in the USA.
All right. I see your argument there. But let's start off in this action. And we've got Mark Andrews. You mentioned him. Andrews coming out here. So Dan, explain his style for anybody that maybe never seen him before.
Mark Andrews, he's a very exciting prospect. We saw him in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament.
Yep.
He impressed us greatly. He's a brilliant high flyer. But don't let his size, count him out, because he is one hell of a fighter. And it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I'll compare more to like Evan Brown. I would compare it to like an Evan Bourne type, that kind of high-flying moves, like he can do in the ring. And he had a great match with the Cruiserweight champion, your Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy, on 205 Live just a couple of weeks ago. As we're watching this, of course, I know these were taped a long time ago. But he's going up against Joe Coffey. And Coffey is the Scottish professional wrestler, OVS. And he's more known for his work in Insane Championship Wrestling. But the Coffey brothers, of course, made a bit of an impact in the UK tournament the second round. So you got Joe Coffey and Mark Coffey.
I take it he's the heel. What about a weird ramp? I mean, they come out, come sideways, and then come down.
Yeah, I know, that's strange, that is. There's set up there, you see the screen. And last June it was the Coffey brothers getting involved to the fatal four-way for the title opportunity and took out Mark Andrews. But let's not discredit Joe Coffey. He beat Tucker and Dave Mastiff in the first and second round before losing to Travis Banks in the semi-finals of the UK tournament. So it should be an interesting matchup here.
Well, James, I prefer T.
I know, we'll see what happens here. Joe is older, so just so you know that. And we'll see what he does here against Mark.
One of them's got long hair, one of them's got short hair.
Yes, I would use that as the difference between the two. Coffey's obviously got his power, but like you said, Dan, it's not about the dog and the fight and the dog, it's about the fight and the dog and the fight. Nailed it. And now Coffey's got the arm of Andrews. The crowd's trying to get behind him early going.
Well, in this match, it's obviously that Andrews is going to have to use his speed and area advantage in this match as opposed to going for a full-out strength battle with Joe Coffey because, he's got the size and the strength over Andrews. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, Coffey's been impressive, but Andrews' heart and determination as we look round for the setting, and I think from the camera side on there, it doesn't look too bad. But you see it's still quite a small arena as Andrews gets out of that.
Well, as it pans round, you can see there's visible high walls there, which, we're not...
You can see the far exit, which is ever so British as well. Mark Andrews with a Hurricane Runner taking down Coffey. Backs him up in the corner. Comes running in, but gets thrown on the apron. Oh, a beautiful step-up kick. I think I saw two flying then.
Andrews springboarding his way back in. Oh, Hess's takedown.
And then the nip up by Andrews and the crowd loving it.
Mark trying to get his brother back into this match.
And the crowd firmly behind Andrews as Joe's holding on to that top rope. Easily breaks it and then responds with a huge chop. That might cave the chest of Andrews.
So it doesn't look like there's anything to the left and to the right of the ring. Not quite sure what's behind it, so it seems like, it's all based on one side.
Yeah, behind it must be the entranceway, but like you said, we don't know if the fans, if they're coming down sideways from it.
But then I suppose, it's quite similar to the one we saw in Brighton, the NXT event.
Yeah, exactly. That side, three sides. It's more like a kind of studio, isn't it, in that kind of way. I wonder if anybody's I think some people are on the balconies, maybe. But it will improve. Like I said, you've still got Birmingham, Liverpool still to come.
Oh, double underhook, and Joe Coffey's going for a Cesaro swing, but with the arms. And a double underhook suplex, or a butterfly suplex, if you will.
Goes for the cover back. Andrews managing to kick out. Coffey now just strangling Mark Andrews.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Andrews use the stunner?
He does use that as one of his signature moves. And he loves using the shooting star press as well. Managing to get out of that submission hold there. But just runs right back into trouble. Coffey throws him on the outside.
Oh, his brother's making the walk round to try and intimidate Andrews.
But good officiating there. Referee catches him.
Oh, Joe from behind though. And that's Has Kingdom.
No, and he seems very, very focused here tonight to put Mark Andrews out. Maybe send a statement to the entire NXT UK division. Well, anybody that's watching this on the network now. Of course, the great thing about this is 8 p.m. our time, BST. So it's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon for the American audience.
Oh, so the Americans won't have to fucking moan about staying up late on a Sunday night to watch a fucking event then.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Andrews now showing a bit of fire, just trying to use combination to put Coffey down.
And then just goes with the slaps and elbows and forearms. Super kick to the midsection. Follows over the knee to the jaw. Irish whip reversed by Coffey. Andrews slides underneath. Hits a lovely enziguri.
Well, that was beautiful there by Andrews. Coffee's a bit stunned now, having to use that second rope to get up. Comes running in with a double knees to Joe. Now using the ropes to gain a bit more momentum. Rolls him through in a pin, but does the hits the double foot stomp. Standing corkscrew moonsault, goes for the cover. 2. Oh.
Coffee managing to kick out.
And that was close, he realising. I think Joe might realise that now as well. Oh my. Coffee catches a boot of Andrews, but he responds with insecurity. Comes running in.
Pop up, uppercut.
And Coffee now.
Oh, that's a spear with his head into the corner, sending Andrews back.
And again, a splash in the corner. Throws him against the ropes.
Pop up power slam. 1, 2.
No.
Ooh.
Somehow Andrews managing to kick out.
Even that referee is so British. It's a 2, sir.
2. And Joe Coffey looking to put Andrews away now. Oh! Well, you mentioned earlier, Dan.
Yes, and an escape from a suplex attempt from Coffey. Andrews turns it into a stunner, and now he's on the outside. Is he looking for his, as you say, shooting star?
I think if he can get up, Coffey is still, as a bit stunned.
When Mark pulls his brother to the outside, that's not going to stop Andrews, who hits a moonsault to the outside on the Coffey brothers.
And that was beautiful there by Andrews, taking out both Coffees. Got 2 Coffees for the price of 1 there.
I still don't like coffee.
Well, bug off.
I'd rather have Booker T.
Hey! I wonder how many, it's a shame there's not a sexual chocolate. Hey, sexual hot chocolate, Mark Henry.
Hey.
So cool right now. As Andrews has thrown Joe back in. Going back up now. Oh, for God's sake, ref. Mark comes up, gets kicked off. But leads to the distraction. And Joe...
Belly to belly overhead there from Joe.
My God, that was impressive
Setting
there.
Andrews up for the finish. Discus lariat.
He's out. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Job done there. Joe Coffey showing his impressive nature.
Do you have any Drew McIntyre in your Joe Coffey?
Okay, that's a step too far there. All right, come on now. Well, speaking of Drew McIntyre, Joe Coffey has faced him in the past in ICW, and if he can make a Drew McIntyre-like impression in NXT UK, then this guy means that he will go a long way. I think especially with Mark in his corner, Andrews gave it his all, but just come up a little bit short. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think the numbers advantage certainly came into the Coffey brothers' favour.
Oh, my God, and now they're double-teaming Andrews. This is a 2-on-1 handicap match after just getting beaten, but here he comes, Morgan Flash Webster, helmet in hand.
Yes.
Taking out the Coffey brothers. Oh, my God. Well, if no one's ever seen the Modfather before, he's made an impact now. He was in that Fatal 4-Way, destroyed them. And now he sends them fleeing, and what a great way to start NXT UK. Well, as you'll see throughout the premiere, the structure of each match is simple but effective and set the table for a bigger picture. In this case, the duo and the Coffey brothers fighting opposite 2 white meat Welsh babyfaces in Andrews and Webster. And it's great to see the Modfather get this look.
Well, we get an Eddie Dennis vignette, and it's another Welshman. Get some airtime here. Eddie Dennis is an excellent heel. He'll excel at getting heat when on the mic, whether he's in NXT UK or the main roster. If
you're not up to date on what's going on in Progress, he and Mark Andrews just wrapped up a year-long feud that's centred around a former friendship. It looks like we get something similar to UK. It's fine by me if those 2 guys goes to war in another banger of a TLC match.
Yes, and we get mustache mounting. They're encouraging friendship. And it's weird watching this, knowing that they filmed this while they were NXT Tag Team Champions. 7 deemed this possibly the biggest day in the history of British wrestling. Mustache Mounting realised they're the only tag team on the brand.
Well, there's a call to action for the boys in the back to start buddying up so they can get some competitive tag team championships. With so many morally bankrupt characters in TV and film these days, it's great to see 2 wholesome characters promoting values like friendship.
And we get a Dave Mastiff vignette, and Dave claims he's the best heavyweight wrestler in the world. It's a big claim, but hey, if you've only got 15 seconds to sell yourself, might as well swing for the fences. Let's see if he can deliver later on.
We get a Noam Dar reminder. We're reminded that Noam Dar's days of being criminally underused on 205 Live have come to an end, and tonight He's got Pete Dunne for the UK Championship, and he's walking out the new NXT UK Champion.
So is this a step up or a step down for Noam Dar? I mean, he's failed to reach the pinnacle on 205 Live. Could the NXT UK be like a resurgence for him?
I think it could. Like I say, some might class it to step down, but if he gets more airtime, he gets involved, then I think this could help Noam Dar out. I think he's a great worker. He just needs to work on his personality a little bit more for WWE, and I think UK stage is perfect for him that way. I think it's good for him, and I think Tyler Bate as well in that way, just to kind of get a bit more experience.
Well, here's another question for you, because I like questions. Is NXT UK going to work the same as the NXT brand does, i.e., once they've reached the top, will they get the push to the main roster?
I don't know that. I think way into 205 Live and normal NXT, but I don't know if it will be main roster. I would love it to be, but I don't know at this moment in time. I think with the amount of talent in NXT going up to the main roster, NXT might need to be filled by the UK talent.
Can I just say, I absolutely love this camera work, because as we're coming up to our second match, Bomber Dave Mastiff versus Sid Scala. And as the cameraman is following big Dave Mastiff, and he is a huge 22-stone man.
Yes.
And the camera's shaking left and right as he's taking his steps, as if to, but he is a physically imposing man.
He is, and Dave Mastiff's been in World of Sport, where we saw him in a New Year's special, and he signed up to be in the UK tournament this year around. Of course, like we say, losing to Joe Coffey, but we also have seen him live as well, and he is a mountain of a man in person, Dan.
He is a behemoth, yes, and Sid Scala's getting in his face, pointing his finger, and one for Mastiff just knocks him down. Well,
this will be over soon. He called himself the best heavyweight going, and he's picked up Sid in a vertical suplex, and he's held him up there for at least 30 seconds.
At least 50 to 80 seconds.
Oh!
And he doesn't even fall with him, he just throws him.
And Dave, impressing here. The fans want him to do it one more time. Sid. Oh my God, now he's going to throw him across the ring.
From one corner to the other.
And Mastiff not going for the cover, looking to put a hurting on Sid. Oh my God.
Elbow shots to the jaw.
Well, referee might have to stop this, but I think Dave Mastiff, much like Joe Coffey earlier, kind of wants to send a message of this is what they get in the NXT UK division. And I'm sure Pete Dunne will be watching the shows. He looks like he wants to fight Noam Dar. And Sid's got a bit of offense in.
But Dave Mastiff, I think that just tickled his beard.
Oh!
And a big seated drop kick there from the big man.
Oh my word. And now deadlift in the German.
Just throws Sid again.
Oh my God. Uh-oh, he's positioned in the corner.
Cannonball! And that looks more brutal than Kevin Owens. I mean, he just flew.
He just gave everything. He's 23 stone right into Scala's face. Finishing him off there. Job done. What are your thoughts on Dave Mastiff?
Well, James, I think he's going to be a top dog in NXT UK. Unintended.
Honestly, he looked awesome in this match, and he makes easy work of skid. He probably is skids now after those
well, you're going to need a spatula to scoop him off of the mat there.
Well, that is definitely what we call a squash match, but very impressive here. Right, up next we've got Nina Samuels versus Toni Storm. And Nina told an interview before the match where she expresses her desire to make a name by beating Toni Storm. It seems unlikely, but hey, at least she's got a pretty neat theme song.
Is she the wife, daughter, mum of Shah Samuels?
So, Dan, I'll fill you in on Nina Samuels first, as she nearly falls making her way in. Tell me about, who've never seen Toni Storm, even though everybody has now, who Toni Storm is.
She was my pick to win the second ever Mae Young Classic, going against James's pick in the final, Io Shirai, and my pick, Toni Storm, beat James's pick, Io Shirai, in yet another tournament.
You just stated that she beat me. What's good about Toni Storm, though? Just because you beat someone I like?
That actually leads a lot into it, but no, Toni Storm, she's a great talent. She featured in probably the best matches of the 205 of the Mae Young Classic 2 tournament. Yeah, she's just a brilliant, hot prospect talent.
All right, so as Toni Storm comes out, it's a very impressive from, of course, Australia. We've got Nina Samuels, who has been around a little while now. Debuted 16th of November 2014. Trained in 4FW Training Academy in London by Greg Burridge. She's 5'7", 150 pounds. She's wrestled in Pro Wrestling Eve, as we talked about, Pro Empire Wrestling, and obviously joined WWE in 2018.
She has no affiliation to Charlotte Samuels.
So we've seen a couple of big heavyweights in the NXT UK division, and now we're seeing the women getting involved. Toni Storm signed to NXT UK. Is this a step down for Toni Storm? I'll start to ask you questions.
I think it is, especially after she won the Mae Young Classic, and you look at what that done for the likes of the first woman that won it, Kairi Sane. You know, she's certainly made a big impression, but I don't know, is it good to be underused in NXT UK, NXT in the American one, and be, you know, world renowned in NXT UK, and then potentially, you know, going up to the main roster to be lost in the shuffle, because there is a lot of talent currently in the WWE Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to agree with that. Well, I say agree. I'd have to say that to have more time is better than to have none at all. And even if you're on Raw or SmackDown, you're only getting a couple of minutes or, you know, nothing at all. Like, look at Sanity. They'd be better off in NXT. Where I think, yeah, Toni Storm is a talent that could be on the main roster pretty soon, you know. I think she's got a lot going for her. But I think sometimes you need to help out other brands. And with NXT UK just getting started, maybe Toni Storm as a name recognition will help out in that way, you know. The same, I think, with maybe Tyler Bate and even Noam Dar to a lesser extent. I think Pete Dunne now has been knocking on, not main roster door, but definitely kind of is an important part of NXT. So to see him now be a part of NXT UK is going to be a bit weird for him as well. But it means he's getting featured an awful lot. So maybe Toni Storm will make her way up to the NXT roster. Hopefully she will, of course. But maybe sooner rather than later, and we put someone like Nina Samuels over, you know. I don't know. Like, yeah. Nina Samuels looked pretty impressive in this match. You know, he's not been overawed by opponents. Actually been in quite control these past few minutes.
But, you know, maybe where Shayna Baszler potentially goes up after dropping the title to whoever, you know, it's Nikki Cross is inevitably going to be going up. So you're going to need people to face the likes of Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, you know. And Toni Storm could definitely hold it, and so could Io Shirai, but she's out injured. I think Kairi Sane's got hand, foot, and mouth at the moment.
Yeah,
well.
I know. Kairi Sane is really, really struggling with kind of like exactly what you just said with the tapings. I mean, spoiler alert, everybody. The next person to fight Baszler at the next NXT Takeover is going to be Bianca Belair, so that's going to be quite an interesting matchup. It's kind of two hills going at it. And like I said, with the kind of face women, Toni Storm probably fits in that perfectly. Same with Shara, same with Sane. And even Nikki Cross, you would shout, even if she's NXT, the only reason she's in there is because there's been quite a little bit of people missing from the NXT women's division at this moment in time. Oh my God, Toni Storm just come back into this match.
Yes, well, with a snap belly-to-back suplex there, just throwing Nina. But, you know, again, you've just had, you know, we're, 2-3 months away from having the Mae Young Classic. I mean, you know, there was a few very impressive women in that tournament.
Well, double knees in the corner by Toni Storm. She picks her up like an Alabama Slamway and then neck breakers her down. Gets the pin. Very impressive. Just drop you there. But Toni Storm wins in a very impressive effort. Nina Samuels gave it her all here, but I think we're showcasing the fact that Toni Storm is the biggest star. She looks to become the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. So what are you going to say about Mae Young?
Yeah, well, you know, with the influx of talent that we saw through the Mae Young Classic, and, you know, it's kind of NXT aren't utilising a lot of the women. You know, they had Alison Kay. I know she went out in the first round, but she had a big name in Impact Wrestling. You know, there's a few others.
I've got Masamoto in my head. Satomura as well is number one. Mercedes Martinez would be good. And there's a lot of talent, like you say, as well, that could come up. And this is what the good thing is now, because the amount of wrestlers on there, now you're starting another show in NXT UK, you're going to kind of need them to kind of step up and be involved. So it'd be very interesting to see how the women's division develops as we move on. But up next is the main event of our very first episode of NXT. We just find that next week we're getting Tyler Bate versus Wolfgang, which should be a great match. Because Wolfgang was my pick in the first NXT UK tournament.
And Tyler Bate was my pick.
Tyler Bate was not your pick.
No, Trent Seven was.
Trent Seven was, yeah.
All right, that was close.
All right, well, anyway, we see NXT UK General Manager Johnny Saint. Johnny Saint is an absolute legend in British wrestling. I mean, we would probably have Johnny Saint special on its own, but a guy from Real came from nothing to become a kind of superstar back in the day. And even people like Stone Cold Steve Austin talk about what Johnny Saint could do, was just kind of the master. You know, talk about Pete Dunne now. Johnny Saint had that with flair as well back in the day. But anyway, NXT UK title time. It's the main event. It's been quite a good episode to start off with, hasn't it, really, of NXT UK?
It has been, yeah. You know, we're starting to see a few familiar faces and a couple of new faces as well.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting as we go. We've got Noam Dar, of course, coming out here, the Scottish Supernova with Pinky Power. Now I'm going to make a prediction, Dan. We are going to get a new NXT UK champion here tonight. Dar is walking out with the gold. So Noam Dar out here waiting for the UK champ.
And Pete Dunne gets a huge response.
A main event level reaction for the man that's held the UK title for over 550 days. Quite incredible is Pete Dunne. I mean, there's been anybody else that's come through these past couple of years who's had such an impact. I can't honestly say. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of Pete Dunne and everything that he's about. For someone who doesn't look like your atypical WWE star, he's just got everything. I don't get bored by his matches, you know. I can't say that for most other wrestlers, Dan.
No, it's like that UK Championship. He is carrying Brit Wrestling in his mouth.
And he really is, you know. You talk about Johnny Saint being a great. Well, Pete Dunne keeps this up, then he's not only a obvious UK legend, but, you know, a future Hall of Famer at this rate, and still so young as well. But I still think Noam Dar, who's in phenomenal shape, will get the job done here tonight. It's a very special moment, and Dusty athlete as well. We've seen both of these men live, but it's not about us, Dan.
It isn't, no. It is about NXT UK.
And we were front row for both. I saw Pete Dunne versus Mark Andrews and Noam Dar in action.
Pete Dunne versus Mark Andrews.
And now we got, an NXT UK.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, NXT UK live show. The NXT live show that we saw. And we also saw Trent Seven versus Jack Gallagher. And Dar's got his fans here as well. What a great match this should be.
And the response both of these men got.
Johnny Saint shaking the hand of both men as well.
Pete Dunne just like, what? Get out, old man.
This is what the Bruiserweight is great at. These big match moments. Oh.
Throws his jacket at Noam Dar's face.
And like I said, at the moment, Pete Dunne is the UK division. We saw a couple of people earlier making statements in Mastiff and Joe Coffey. Tonight, Dar wants to make the biggest one. And I think he will walk out here NXT UK champion. But it's going to be a difficult matchup. And we're getting a Dar in
Death March.
Imperial Death March Dar. Da 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 da.
That's quite innovative.
That's
why I love the British crowd, because we do come a chance.
We don't take over the show, we add to it as well. Do you know what I mean? I think that is what the beauty is. And Dar's a huge Star Wars fan as well. God, no, I'm Dar, something like that. Well, that's just so British as well, isn't it, with them talking to the crowd. Happy birthday, Noam Dar. And that's what the guy said, happy birthday, Dar. He said, thanks. And then the crowd starts singing, happy birthday. Dar, a bit of Pinky Power. Sets Dunne up and round.
Oh, looking for a backslide, but both men just spinning round.
Well, this is how good Noam Dar is. Now backslide to Dunne.
A kick out from Dunn. Just trying to gather his bearings.
Bearings, sponsored by me. An outside headlock. Dunn throws him off low. Drops down leapfrog. Dar still running the ropes. Now over the top of Pete Dunn.
Oh, runs through him with a thunderous clothesline.
And a huge bruiserweight chant. Just show how impactful we can be with just one move. Now putting Dar in the middle of the ring. Oh my god, and he's got the finger of Noam Dar. It's a joint manipulation, just working over.
I think he's going to go for the pinky fingers first from Noam Dar.
Well, Dar shouldn't be showing off for that, but of course Dar's had surgery on that leg that Dunn's been targeting, and Pete done all his homework.
But Noam's done his research too, as Pete Dunn runs the ropes, stands on the top of the turnbuckle, but Dar just cuts him down. I mean, you know, even when we saw in War Games, Pete Dunn had a niggling knee injury.
Oh, exactly, so you got to think that's still hurting him now. Then.
Forever.
And now Dar going to the outside. And drapes Dunn over the apron. Nice forearms. Oh!
Pulls Pete Dunn to the outside. He puts his hands down on them wafer thin mats and then just kicks the arm from Dunn out.
And you can hear the impact. Dar throwing Pete Dunn back in.
Going back to that right arm of Dunn.
And Dunn just kicking from the bottom.
A supernova bruiserweight chant going through the crowd.
Oh!
And Dunn just turns Dar inside out with a suplex.
Well, the arm might hurt, and Dunn's punched himself in the face to get back into this match. I tell you what, the fans really are creating a great atmosphere here. And now Dunn, combination. Dar can't do anything about this. At least 15 shots.
At least 35 shots there to Noam Dar.
Dunn just screams and Irish whips Dar, reverses it low into the corner.
Now this time Dar doesn't take the leg out as Dunn hits Noam with a step up enziguri.
And the first time Dar's really been caught. Dunn went for maybe a German suplex. Dar reversed.
Dunn flips through though. Kicks Dar to the side of the head.
And now he's got him. Maybe powerbomb. Set him up.
Sit out powerbomb. Oh, but Dar managing to get the shoulder up at 2.
2. And that was too close there.
That was too sweet.
And Dunn might have rearranged a couple of his front teeth, just pulling out his mouth guard, checking on it. And British Wrestling chant. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is what British Wrestling is all about. Dunn now on the second rope.
Well, as Barney explains, the perfect song should be start off high and just keep rising. This is what this main event is doing.
Well, exactly, and that is what this is all about. You saw the rake on the nose there by Dunn and kicking Dunn off.
Dunn with a combination of his own there to the throat to the midsection, following it up with a lovely uppercut.
Then comes running in, hits Dunn with the elbow, picks him back out. Northern Lights throw there. Dunn getting covered now. Oh, but managing to kick out. Dar now might be slightly frustrated, just checking the referee. Saying, are you sure? And Dar looks like he's maybe got more left in him than Dunn has, but I think Dunn just goaded Noam onto the apron there.
Kicks him to the chest. Dar responds with a big right hand. Dunn with a slap. Dar with a forearm. Both men in a very precarious position as Pete Dunn bends the finger of Dar back.
Oh, he's going to snap his fingers right now. Oh.
Dar managing to escape and hits a kick to the head of Dunn.
Uh-oh. And now he's got him up. Fisherman's. Oh.
On the edge of the apron. Dar falls down to the mats. Dunn lands on top of him.
Oh, my God. Well, the hardest part of the ring. We get an NXT chant now as well. Well, referee's counter doesn't help Noam Dar. Dunn can just stay out there. But I don't think he's that type of guy.
Well, both men are crawling round the ring.
On to 9. Oh.
Both men in opposite sides of the ring at the count of 9.
And now facing off with each other.
Crawling to the middle of the ring.
And this is awesome chance, and Dunn grabs Dar's left hand. Dar fighting out. Forearm kick. Another punch. Oh. But not enough, though. Fingers wrenched. Oh.
Dar responds with an elbow to the jaw.
And then knocked Dunn out. And now Dunn drops down.
Got a triangle in. Dar's got a pinning combination.
Dar turns it at the Boston Crab, but Dunn's grabbed the arm.
Cross arm breaker.
Oh, and Dar managing to roll through. Reverse the pressure.
Ankle lock.
Oh, and what a transition that was. Dunn rolls through low, out of trouble.
Both men with a huge forearm. Pete Dunne getting the better of the exchange.
Oh my God, now each man just giving everything they got. Huge kick by Dunn on Dar. Oh!
Ducks Dar's close iron attempt, but doesn't block the one where dined.
And Dar has never looked better here in WWE right now. Right now.
Very excited fans as well.
This was about fans adding to a match, their great match, on the first episode of NXT UK.
But we've gone back, we've watched the first episode of SmackDown, we've watched the first episode of Raw. And, you know, this could be the pinnacle of things to come for this crowd.
I know, crazy, isn't it? And Dunn for it. He's looking to put Pete Dunne out. All come running in, but Dunn caught him. And now turn it round, maybe Kimura, but Dar's into the suplex.
Wow, snap suplex there from Dar.
And now I'm showing the power that he's got.
Running kick to the shin there, takes out Pete Dunne, chops the big tree down.
Oh, comes running in with another kick. Dunn catches him in the forearm.
This could be the bitter end for Dar.
Oh, Darlow rolls through, ankle lock. And he's got the
He's got the knee
grapevine.
bar in. Heel hook.
Well, he's got him in the middle of the ring. He's got grapevine. Dunn can't move. A tap. We got a new UK. I said this. Oh no, Dunn managed to escape.
Gets to the bottom rope.
Oh my God, how close was that? Well, that would have been a shock if Pete Dunne had been submitted then. Now Dar wondering what to do next. He's got Dunn on the ropes. Oh, he went for the pinky. And Dunn's caught him.
Bent it back.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Oh no. Oh! Dunn stomps a finger. Dar's in trouble.
Bitter end. Rolls him up. 1, 2, 3.
Woo, what a match. My God. Well done to Dar and Pete Dunne, but he's still the NXT UK champion. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can say hands down, without a doubt, that was probably Noam Dar's best match he's been in.
Yeah.
Even though he was on the losing end, he absolutely looked like a superstar in that match.
Yeah, honestly, it was back and forth, and Dunne proved, what makes a great champion, and Dar came out of that looking fantastic, and still selling his finger.
Oh, I would as well.
And what a way to start the very first episode. Dan, what are your thoughts on the first episode?
Well, I want to keep watching. I want to, see what this turns into. Pete Dunne is offering the hand to Noam Dar, and both men pinky each other and walk away. But I want to see what happens, because this was absolutely brilliant, and if the NXT division has got anything, to compare itself to, I think this is going to be what it should, inspire to be.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the main event was a perfect way to cap off this historic night for NXT UK. Here's to hoping that they can keep the momentum rolling into week 2 and beyond. And honestly, great way to start. So move on to episode 2 then, and that's October 24th. So this is on 24th of October, but it aired, it was on the July 28th and 29th, 2018 from Cambridge. We're continuing on. That was Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness on commentary. First match, Dan, is a man that we have seen, I think got suplexed on a shopping trolley last time we saw him.
I believe so, yes.
It's Ligero. Now, well, not El Ligero now, just Ligero. To explain his character, I mean, he says he's a luchador, I believe him, but he's from Britain. He's Britain's only luchador. Much like when Sami Zayn was El Generico, wrestling the mask. Ligero, it's kind of the British version of that, but very talented though, isn't he, Dan?
He is extremely talented, yeah, and I think he deserves to wear that mask, not because he's ugly as fuck underneath it, but because he is a British Lucha Libre style wrestler.
Exactly, and it's a different kind of person that we're going to see. And he is going against Wild Boar Mike Hitchum.
And a man that's wearing his own mask, he looks like a reject from the Wyatt family.
Yeah, that's just true. Mike Hitchum coming out here now. Well, he's Welsh, and he debuted in 2008. He's 5'6", 180 pounds. We're going to see him in action against Ligero. This might be power versus speed on the only second... On what is the second episode of NXT UK, Hitchum's got Ligero up. And maybe splash him down. Ligero drops behind low, gets pushed away. Clothesline.
Hurricanrana.
Yeah.
Takes down the Wild Boar.
I think Ligero's too quick for the Wild Boar.
But the Wild Boar's too powerful for Ligero.
And now Hitchum sends him into the ropes. Ligero dodges under. Beautiful back elbow. The standing moonsault goes for the cover, but Hitchum managing to kick out. Comes right into the corner. Gets sent on the apron.
Just springs his way back into the ring. Calls out Wild Boar. As he comes into him, he hits him with an uppercut. Goes to the second rope. Drop kick.
Now he's going to go for the cover, but Mike managing to get shoulder up at 2. Ligero's been working 17 years to get this moment. And finally, he's on the WWE TV.
Well, James, did you know that he wore a mask because he was incredibly shy, and now it's just become a part of him?
Right, what a fantastic worker he is. But now Wild Boar's come back into it. Spear in a corner, overhead throw. He went for the cover, but Ligero gets the shoulder up at 2. Now Ligero getting worked on.
Wild Boar trying to slow the pace down to his speed, not trying to get pulled into what Ligero can offer, flying around, running around.
I mean, he looks like a big dude, but, you know, he's not a heavyweight, but of course he is here in Ligero. That's the other thing I like about the UK division, what we've seen. You know, it can be any size to be involved in this. You know, Pete Dunne's not a huge guy, so it'll be interesting in the matchups that we're going to get. Ligero there, beautiful, managing to twist and turn and take the Wild Boar down.
Clotheslines him down. Twice.
Now comes running to the corner, big forearm.
There's a running kick there. Oh, only getting a 2 count.
2. And now Ligero going to go run. Wild Boar stops him, got him in his shoulders. Slams him down. Then a senton to the back. Ligero's in the corner. Oh my God. Runs into him, goes for the cover, but oh no.
Only getting a 2 count, but that was kind of like a variation of the counter flipping over. He went backwards.
2. Throws him up on the ropes.
Pop-up powerbomb.
And again, Ligero gets shoulder up at 2.
2. What the fuck's up with his eyes? I've just noticed them.
Have you noticed that? Yeah,
it looks like he's taking a fucking pill or something. He's just got some big pupils.
He had the contacts in. Now he's pulling his hair out in frustration. As the fans get behind El Ligero.
Is the Wild Boar trying to be like a Mick Foley-esque character? Like a Mankind?
He's going to have to go a long way to match his success. He just hit the turnbuckle then. As Ligero hits him with a kick.
Springboard Tornado DDT.
Goes for the cover. Gets a job done there.
He's happy.
Ligero wins. But Dan, are you happy?
I am happy, yeah. You know, again, it's another wrestler that we've seen live, so I'd like to see him do well.
Yeah, I mean, this was fun. Ligero's fun to watch, and seeing his speed and agility go up against a powerful guy like Hitchum made for a good match. I thought this was a showcase for Ligero more than anything else, but Hitchum was solid as well.
He was, yeah. We get a video about Dakota Kai saying she has a unique style and Killer Kelly has a killer instinct.
So match 2 is Dakota Kai versus Killer Kelly.
Well, it was a pretty good match. Kai looked good, but Kelly didn't put up too much of a fight. Once Kai got on a roll, you could see the end coming, and this was a good match for Kai.
Well, they asked Dakota Kai how she feels about her NXT UK debut.
Who asked?
I don't know.
Radzi Chinyaganya.
Radzi Chinyaganya enters the ring and asks Dakota Kai how she feels about her NXT UK debut. She feels pretty damn good. She's also excited about the possibility of an NXT UK women's title.
And then we get a video on Eddie Dennis, and he talks about the age difference between himself, Pete Dunne, and Mark Andrews. Dennis isn't happy that he's older and more experienced, yet he was not part of the inaugural UK tournament.
Ooh. Well, Zach Gibson heads to the ring. Gibson says he will soon be recognised as NXT UK's #1, while the crowd continually boos him. He brags about pushing Pete Dunne to his limit just after winning this year's UK. He says if he were fresh, he would have won. He's annoyed that Noam Dar got a title shot, saying that Noam Dar is an embarrassment.
Well, Dar interrupts and heads to the ring. Before Dar can enter the ring, Johnny Saint comes out to the stage. Saint orders both Dar and Gibson to his office right now.
Ashton Smith talks about his roughneck style, and he's coming up next.
Well, Radzi welcomes Travis Banks. Banks hasn't forgotten about the Coffee Brothers did to him at the Royal Albert Hall, and he's looking for payback.
Match 3 is Ashton Smith versus Tucker.
Bless you. Well, it was a pretty good match. Ashton Smith likes to throw in some unnecessary hops, but he's pretty good. I think Tucker might be pretty good as well, but I felt there was some slightly awkward moments with him in this match. They weren't bad, just a little odd.
Well, nothing has come easy for Danny Burch. We see a video about that.
And we move on to the main event, Wolfgang versus Tyler Bates.
So this should be a great main event. Wolfgang backs Bate up into the corner. Clean breakler at this moment in time.
We absolutely loved Tyler Bate during the UK tournament.
Well, not just that. I mean, his classic match, which kind of gave the idea for NXT UK, you know, the takeover match between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate for the NXT UK title is probably still one of the best matches, if not one of the, you know, in the last 5 to 10 years now. You know,
at least 15 to 20 years.
It's a classic encounter, and I like to. People argue with me about that, but honestly, it put both men on the map and the NXT UK Championship on the map, and this is why it's happening now. So it's nice. In the first episode, we've got Pete Dunne in the main event. In the second episode, we've got Tyler Bate in the main event as well, you know. So that shows who is going to kind of be the leading stars.
Well, not forgetting this Tyler Bate is 22 years old, and he was our first ever UK champion.
Yeah, and he's a phenomenal athlete. We really like him. Wolfgang, though, is a dangerous opponent, and he shouldn't take Tyler Bate too lightly as he just puts him on the apron and lets him back in. He might have the size advantage, but Bate's been there and done that. NXT UK champion, NXT Tag Team champion as well. Like I say, such a young age and so powerful as well. So there we go. They're going to test his strength in the early going. Greco-Roman knuckle lock. And Wolfgang might have the advantage, he thinks. But I'm not going to discredit Bate.
Oh, Bate's down on both knees, trying to fight his way back.
And now look at Tyler Bate. Manages to get up and he's powering down Wolfgang.
Bate rolls through, breaks it, nips up to his feet, and a lovely leaping drop kick.
Wow.
Nips back to his feet again.
What a guy, eh? When I look in the mirror, I see Tyler Bate looking back at me. And Bate manages to pick Wolfgang up on his shoulders. No, he's not. Bate gets pushed off by Wolfgang.
Wolfgang just throws Tyler Bate about 8 foot in the air.
At least 12 to 15 foot. And now comes in with a knee. Must have broken a rib. Wolfgang goes for the cover, but only a 1. 1. Wolfgang complaining about the slow count then.
What'd you call me?
I said count.
Yeah, make sure.
An uppercut.
Upper what?
I said uppercut. Now going for a suplex.
Sue's what?
It's got hits him on the top rope.
Hanging the smaller Tyler Bate up on the top rope.
On the tightrope. Well, but Wolfgang just grabs the arm and kicks Tyler right in that midsection. He must have eternal bleeding right now. Fights back with the other uppercut. Now another uppercut.
Upper what?
And now a forearm response by Wolfgang. Just drops Bate down and now an uppercut to Bate.
Upper what?
Well, young Master Bate here is getting taught a lesson. Irish whip in the corner. Wolfgang goes for the cover. Bate manages to kick out.
Oh.
And Wolfgang's just been in complete control. Anytime Bate comes back into it, just cuts him off. Now he's got him in the wolf hug.
Tyler Bate's got his elbow against the jaw of Wolfgang and he's punching his other hand to try and put some pressure onto Wolfgang. And now Bate fighting back.
And Wolfgang trying to block it, but Bates just too quick. Now going for the Irish whip, but Wolfgang just too strong. Reverses it. Bate hits him in midsection and kick to the face. Now dives off, hits Wolfgang with the elbow for second rope. Bate now going to run into Wolfgang.
Running uppercut.
Or trying to suplex. The amount of power has been taken out of him.
Throws Bate against the ropes. He does his patented back of the neck bounce off of it. Does it again off the other side, looking for clotheslines.
I don't know how he does that move. It's amazing. A third one, and Wolfgang's not even dropped yet.
This Wolfgang is a monster.
And now Bate trying to pick him up. He's going to go for the airplane spin. Oh my God, spin him around.
Why do they call it aeroplane spins? Airplanes don't have propellers. Helicopters do.
He's going up, spanning around. He must span about 15 times.
Running, shooting, star press. 1, 2. Oh, but Wolfgang managing to kick out. A "We love Wolfgang, no we don't" chant going through the crowd.
I thought it was "We want Enzo."
Bate looking for the tire driver. Wolfgang reversal, but Bate lands on his feet. Knee lift by Bate. Springboard uppercut.
Oh my God. Wolfgang with a German suplex. Turn Bate inside out. Get to his feet. Wolfgang spear takedown.
That was like a Spiranagi.
Going down. Oh!
But Bate managing to get the shoulder up at 2.
2.
A nice Tyler Bate chant going up as he cuts Wolfgang, who was perched on the top turnbuckle there with a jumping headbutt.
And now Wolfgang in all sorts of trouble. Bates up. He can't, surely.
Don't call me Shirley, but it looks like Bates going to power Wolfgang over for a superplex. Wolfgang trying to fight out, though. He headbutts to Tyler, drops him to the mat, who rolls inside as Wolfgang was going for the senton bomb.
And Bates somehow back to his feet. Gets pushed off by Wolfgang. And that rolling camper kick. Now is he going to go for a Tyler driver 97? Hits it. 2, 3. Tyler Bate. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Brilliant victory for Tyler Bate. Shows he can go toe-to-toe with the big guys and still come off on top, which I like to see. Can't really discredit Wolfgang, though, because he was brilliant in this match as well.
Yeah, a good match. Wolfgang seemed to take Bate lightly, and that cost him late in the match, didn't it? Wolfgang used his size and strength, but the longer Bate stuck around, the more likely he was to build some sustained offense. The latter part of this match were lots of fun.
Yes, well, this was a good show, and they're still establishing people and personalities in most of the matches. But the main event, once again, delivered an entertaining and competitive match.
Up next is episode 3, October 31st, 2018. Of course, this is in Cambridge again, filmed July 28th. And 29th. And we've got Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. Episode 3.
Yes, and our first match is Trent Seven versus Saxon Huxley.
Good match. Huxley brought more of a fight than Seven expected, and that made for a fun match. It was kind of a showcase for Seven, but Huxley didn't look too bad. Are you happy how your pick from the UK tournament looked, Dan?
Yeah, he's a really strong wrestler and competitor, and you know, hopefully this is a good stage of him to get a bit more exposure.
Yeah, and of course he put away with the Burning Hammer.
He did indeed, yes, in a very competitive match. Both of Mustache Mountain winning in successive weeks. We get match 2, in which is Mark Coffey with Joe Coffey versus Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah, we get a promo for the Coffey brothers. Radzi is joined by Flash Morgan Webster. Morgan says the Coffeys have been a thorn in his side, but he ends that tonight. The Coffeys coming out here. Joe Coffey, of course, won on the very first episode of NXT, but it could have been a bigger assault if it wasn't for Flash Morgan Webster.
Well, in Mod, we trust.
Mod the people. So we're going to see Mark Coffey and, of course, the brother of Jewel in action here, of course, from Scotland as well. You know, they're born in the same place, believe it or not.
Joe who?
Joe Coffey is slightly older than Mark, and of course, like you pointed out in the first episode, he has short hair, does Mark? So that should be Flash Morgan Webster. We again have seen him live. That's when he was part of the 205 Live in the UK, and that was a fun match he was involved with. We call Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
Like a 6-man tag.
Yeah, Drew Gulak and the other two cunts on there. Webster catches himself on that rope. Mark comes running. Nice leapfrog there. Oh my God, takes it down with the arm drag. Nice hip toss there. Oh, Morgan Flash Webster.
No, Flash Morgan Webster.
Flash Morgan. I always get their names wrong. Well, Webster Flash Morgan now has got down Mark to the face. Oh my God, an inverted senton. Goes for the cover, but Mark managing to get up at 2.
2, and that was a reverse.
Rolls to the outside, and Joe is going to have a look at him. But is Flash Morgan Webster now going to come flying? Come flying? No.
Joe Coffey gets on the ring apron, preventing his brother from getting a suicide dive.
Oh!
As Mark Coffey comes in from round the other side of the ring, taking out Webster.
And now forearm to the face, dropping down Morgan Flash Webster. He's in serious trouble now. Twists the arm of Flash.
Side Russian leg sweep.
Now picks him up again.
Keeping hold of that arm.
Oh my God, folds him up like an accordion. But Morgan Webster Flash manages to get the shoulder up at 2.
2.
And now Mark is in complete control of this match. Mark.
It's Joe.
Mark.
It's Joe.
Mark.
It's Joe.
Mark.
Joe.
Mark.
Joe.
Mark. Mark now. Back suplexing Webster. Flash Morgan goes for the cover, but no. Flash Morgan Webster manages to get up again. And then again, Morgan Webster Flash gets the shoulder up at 2.
2.
Oh my God, I don't know how much energy he's got left. Getting just kicked down. He's trying to spawn from the bottom, but gets stopped.
Finally, Webster gets to his feet, punching away at Coffey.
Pushed away, comes running in, over the top. And now here comes Webster again, dodging a clothesline, trying to build some momentum.
Springboard corkscrew set.
Right off that second rope, just thrown himself at Coffey, but can't get him down longer than 2.
2.
Going for the shot, but Webster blocks it. Oh!
Running knee lift there, takes down Mark Coffey.
And that
He
might
rolls
be,
to the sanctum of his brother.
and that might be the best thing for him. And now here comes Flash again, stopping him, and spins around Joe to get to Mark.
Who was blocking Webster from going flying over the top again.
How innovative was that? And now a face-off for the 2.
But is the distraction proving long enough for Mark to get back into this match?
Or Kofi did have him. And now hits a suplex across.
Kofi.
Yeah, Kofi. So you say it in Scotland.
Kingston.
Kofi. And a huge kick to the face by Flash Morgan Webster there. Right onto Joe Kofi. He's going up top, but up to Mark. But Joe stops him. And he gets caught with a kick by Matt Webster. Mark with a clothesline to Flash.
Suplexes him back in, but Flash with a backslide. Rolls up Mark. 2, 3. Gets the shock victory.
OMG. Gets the job done. Dan, what are your thoughts on the match?
I think Flash has got a lot of talent. The Coffey brothers are certainly trying to, team themselves up to be a couple of the monster heels on the brand as well, which is good. You're starting to get some personality shining through on this, which is the 3rd match. And you got Mandrews, Travis Banks there.
Well, Travis Banks said he hasn't forgotten what happened at Royal Albert Hall. And a numbers game, the Coffey's trying to beat up Flash Morgan Webster again. And now it's 3-on-2. Oh, and they're getting out of harm's way. They don't like it when the numbers are against them. But, yeah, it was a good match. Morgan has to contend with both Coffeys throughout the match, and that was fun. Webster used his speed to avoid as much as he could, but the Coffeys have a very good power game. I like the different styles clashing.
Well, after the match, both Coffey brothers attack Webster. Mandrews and Banks quickly come out and get onto the ring apron. As they enter, the Coffey brothers exit the ring and walk away.
Ooh. We get a video looking at Danny Burch.
And we get a look at Sam Gradwell. And people remember him as the guy that got attacked by Pete Dunne at the end of night 1 of the first UK. But he's here in NXT UK to make the people notice him for what he can do in the ring, and to probably try and get some redemption at Pete Dunne for that attack at the end of night 1 on the first UK title tournament.
Well, we get a video of Ginny, and she is captivating and cruel.
And match 3 is Sam Gradwell versus Danny Burch.
Well, it's a good match. I know. I like how any match Birch is into. If it looked like it hurt, and the finish was very good.
It was indeed. And after the match, Radzi asked Birch how it feels to be back in the UK. Birch says it feels great. He's travelled the world for 15 years, flying the UK flag and earning respect. Now he's in the prime of his career, and it's not about respect anymore. It's about getting someone's attention. Specifically, Pete Dunne's attention. And Birch challenges Dunne to a fight if he thinks he's hard enough.
Whoa, my B. Zach Gibson heads to the ring. Elsewhere, Naamdar puts on his space jacket.
And we get a video, and Jordan Devlin, who is...
Midget face.
Yes. And he wants the UK title.
He's Finn Balor's little clone, isn't he? If anything happens to Finn Balor, you can stick Jordan Devlin there. I think we'll be fine. Up next is the main event. It's Naamdar versus Zach Gibson.
Yes, and a great match. I didn't expect this good of a fight, but it felt like a grudge match at the end of any heated feud. Both men looked great, and they pushed and pushed to the point where I didn't know if they would reach a time limit draw. This could have gone either way, and I really like that about it.
Well, another good show. I was starting to think the show was lacking because the first three matches were kind of short, but then I noticed there was still over 20 minutes left in the show when Dar and Gibson were just starting their match. The main event definitely made this a very good show.
Oh, yeah, and we're very much looking forward to Ginny's NXT UK debut.
So up next, it's NXT UK episode 4, and its original air date October 31st, of course filmed again July 28th to 29th, so still in bloody Cambridge at this moment in time.
We are indeed, yes, and match 1 is Mustache Mountain versus Sam Gradwell and Saxton.
So we're going to see Mustache Mountain. We've already seen Tyler Bate. Trent Seven has been in action, but now Mountain as a tag team now.
I absolutely love them. I think they're brilliant. Their styles mesh brilliantly, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to see Sam Gradwell and, of course, Saxon Huxley in action. Now, if you're not sure who's who, so Gradwell's down at Mustache Mountain, there's Huxley. Because Mustache Mountain, yeah, they are a premier team. Could be on the main roster. They are probably as good as anybody on the Raw division, barring the Revival.
Huxley could be part of Mustache Mountain. He's got a fair beard on him.
He has got a fair beard, and I always like Trent Seven because he's a more huskier type fellow. It gives me a little bit of hope if I ever wanted to become a pro wrestler. But he just got hit by a big right hand and rocked, but now back to his feet. Responds with chops. Goes for 2. Went for the 3rd. Huxley dodged. Trying to go for a DDT maybe, and then Huxley pushed him away out the ring.
Into barricade. But do you think this is kind of a change up for the dynamics of tag team wrestling? I mean, you get the likes of Mustache Mountain. It's normally the smaller one getting beaten down, but in Mustache Mountain's case, it's normally Trent Seven getting beaten down, Tyler Bate getting the hot tag in, coming in and cleaning house.
I would completely agree with you here. I think that Mustache Mountain have changed it up a little bit. I think it can work the other way around, but it works better this because we know how great Bate is with the hot tag, and we've seen it with the feud with Undisputed Era. Trent Seven has been the man who has been losing most of the matches as well. It's not great to say for Mustache Mountain now, but they can make a fresh start of it. NXT UK be featured heavily. I think their biggest problem is the competition that's going to find NXT UK. The amount of teams, we're going to see more teams building and more teams probably coming in. But I feel that there's a chance for maybe NXT teams that are not getting used much, like the Mighty or something like that, to be dropped down here and have a great feud with Mustache Mountain over the tag team titles if they go that way,
Indeed, yes, but you've also got the resurgence of the Coffee Brothers. You've got Huxley and Saxon.
Yeah, and you've got, don't forget, Danny Burch has been seeing his face. I'm sure only Lorcan should be allowed down to be part of it. He could be
an honorary Brit.
Exactly, be a part of it. But now it's Sam Gradwell in. And like I said, they're just double teaming Trent Seven at this moment in time. It'll be a major impact.
Major impact.
If they can defeat Mustache Mountain here tonight. Let's not forget, just NXT Tag Team Champions a few short months ago.
Indeed, yes. And the thing I like about these, you can certainly tell who the faces and who the heels are.
Oh, without a doubt, and that's another thing about British wrestling. There is no kind of confusion there. They just tell a story. It's very black and white at this moment. But now Mini Luke Harper's in, and it is, of course, Saxon Huxley. You're just working over Trent Seven. The right hands, and Seven now saying, bring it on.
Well, he didn't come back from that one. That one knocked him down.
Yeah, I thought he would have maybe recovered then, but no. And Huxley looked very impressive. Another forearm to 7.
Oh, he responds with a spinning back fist. Can he get the tag to Tyler Bate?
He's looking for it. Here comes Huxley.
Oh, sidesteps him, sends him to the outside.
Oh, and now here comes Gradwell thrown out. Oh my God, nearly suicide dived the cameraman, but did hit Huxley.
Running the ropes, flies over the top with ease.
God, and then he broke his neck on the top of barricade. Throws him in, now here he comes. Uppercut into the corner.
Another running uppercut. Tyler Bates come in and he's on fire, baby.
He is running like a steam engine at the moment. Catches Huxley.
Exploder suplex.
And that just shite.
Nips his way up as well in impressive fashion. Running shooting star.
Oh, but credit to Huxley managing to kick out.
Oh.
And now Mustache Mountain looking to put away Huxley and Gradwell. 7's got him in the back. No, Huxley turns it.
Throws him into Bate. Gets the tag.
And now Sam Gradwell's in straight to 7. Picks him up. Now here comes Huxley.
Oh, an assisted backstabber. Single leg Boston on the injured left.
And 7 in all sorts of trouble.
It is his left leg.
Now here comes Huxley, but he's caught Bate. But Bate managing to power up. Saxon
Throws him into Gradwell.
and now all 4 men down. Huxley rolls out the ring. And so does Bate. Now both men exchanging forearms. Another back fist by 7. He goes into the corner to Bate.
Blind tag from Tyler.
And now here comes Tyler Bate.
Bounces off the ropes, clothesline, and a throw from 7.
Goes for the cover.
1,
2, 3. Mustache Mountain win here in a very good tag team match. And even though Gradwell and Huxley aren't a tag team, well, they work very, very well together. And it just shows Mustache Mountain are kind of the stars of the tag team division. Merman, I've had a great match, Dan. What are your thoughts?
Indeed, yeah. You know, Mustache Mountain, great tag team there, and I'd love to see a lot more of them. And if they get more exposure here, then it's definitely good.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a good match. And yeah, I've said all that.
Well, backstage, Johnny Saint and some referees check on Travis Banks, who has been attacked.
Ooh, a promo for Isla Dawn.
And Ginny coming soon.
Well, backstage, Vazzy asks Johnny Saint about the attack on Banks, but Mark Andrews interrupts. Andrews knows it must have been the Coffee who attacked Banks.
And match 2 is Nina Samuels versus Isla Dawn.
Pretty good match. It was short, but I think both women look pretty good. It feels like they want to push Isla Dawn, but Nina Samuels looked just as good. And Isla Dawn was my pick for the Mae Young Classic this year.
She was indeed, Jess. And Radzi has a sit-down interview with Pete Dunne. And Dunne isn't afraid of Danny Burch.
Some clips of what Jordan Devlin could do in the ring.
And we get a video of Eddie Dennis, who quit his job as the youngest principal in the UK to dedicate himself to professional wrestling. He also seems a bit bitter about the success of his friends Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne.
We're match 3's Jordan Devlin versus Tucker.
Well, it was a good match. It was kind of a squash for Devlin, but he did look pretty good given the short time.
We get a video. Radzi sits down with Danny Burch. Burch says he's ready to be champ because of his experience and his setbacks.
Well, and match 4, which is the main event, Wolfgang versus Mandrews.
Well, it was a good match. Wolfgang showed some impressive strength at one point, catching Andrews as he dove out to the floor. Andrews did what he does best, which is run around the ring and fly where he can. It all worked well together for a nice main event.
Well, after the match, the Coffey brothers attack Andrews. After a few seconds, Morgan Webster comes into the ring, helps Andrews. Wolfgang returns to the ring, and the Coffey brothers run out to the stage.
And a lovely sign of respect Wolfgang gave Andrews earlier as well.
Well, we got the Coffey brothers attacking Webster, and Wolfgang comes in to help the downed faces.
Well, the 2 big men, Coffey brothers, been sent away, and Wolfgang checking on Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. And now he's helping Webster back to his feet, and they'll fight another day.
Oh! And Wolfgang's done his first turn, joining the Scottish duo of the Coffey brothers.
Well, the very first turn in NXT UK, Wolfgang beating down Webster, and now here comes Mark and Joe. And Dan, they must be in cahoots.
Well, James, I'll allow that one.
Yes, indeedy.
But the jocks stick together.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right about that. Wearing green and black as well, which is green, and white. Oh, God. And they look strong together. Now Andrew's into Wolfgang.
Pop-up power slam.
Well, Wolfgang was sore like he just lost to Andrews, and a little bit of payback there. And I think we've got a new group in town.
Well, they look like a similar trio.
Oh my God, so they're sending a message there, and these three men, will they be forming a stable of some sorts that might threaten Pete Dunne, the entire NXT UK division?
Yes, well, it was overall a good show, and, you know, you're starting to see some of the storylines developing. I don't think this main event was as good as the last episodes, but I liked it regardless. Yeah. Plus, tonight's main event is undoubtedly going to lead to another match.
Right, so we stopped there for NXT UK, and we'll come back in a little while to watch another 4 episodes. But let's get on to World of Sport. And Dan, World of Sport, on the 28th of July, World of Sport began a new season on i3. We reviewed the first one. You remember watching the first episode, don't you?
Yes.
All right, so what I did, because I kind of watched the rest of the run. So I've just made notes, basically, of what happened. Some of them are more in-depth than others. So you might have trouble reading them, but I should be able to explain them anyway. So, second episode of World of Sport, August 4th.
We get a preview of tonight's tag tourney and women's title match.
We get commentators, So-Called Val and Alex Shane.
Yes, and we get Bennett on mic, and we need a champ that we can be proud of.
Yeah, so Stu Bennett is playing the authority figure for the World of Sport, and of course he's met with loads of boos.
Yes, and he announces tonight's main event.
Yeah, and it's a championship celebration for Shah Samuels, because he beat Grado in the very first episode of World of Sport.
It's so.
And Shah Samuels is not alone, he's with Rampage Brown and CJ Banks.
Well, finally, a proper champion. No one in the back has got the minerals to step up to him.
And Joe Hendry comes out, and of course he's got the fireworks, and they sing a lot as he makes his way to the ring.
Yes, well, last week his partner left him, and he is on a title quest.
He said there are only lapdogs next to him, and he should give me a title shot.
So Bennett tells him to ring the bell.
Well, Shane implies that Stu and Rampage are in cahoots, so they're protecting... Oh, sorry, Rampage Brown is a champion, I should say. Rampage Brown is a champion. He beat Grado last week, and he's got Shah Samuels and CJ Banks in his corner. And they say if Joe Hendry can beat Shah Samuels tonight...
Well, Hendry made the Commonwealth Games, James. Did you know that? Games.
Wow. Well, Hill versus Face with goons at ringside interfering.
And it is a DDT to win it.
Yeah, so Rampage beats Joe Hendry. That was a match that was made. If he could have beat Rampage Brown, he would have had an opportunity. Nailed it. Then we get a 4-man ladder match.
Yes, and there's a briefcase to get.
I wonder what's in the briefcase. We get Liam Slater from Bradford.
And we get Robbie X, who is a masked man.
Gabriel Kidd from Nottingham.
And Lionheart from Ayr in Scotland.
Well, why a ladder match?
Well, no one knows what's inside apart from Stu. He says it's an opportunity.
Well, Lionheart gets ladder. He broke his neck 2 years ago.
Well, the ladder is finally in play, and we're not shown bump into ladder.
Yeah, so what is the fucking point? Because you can't show it before the watershed. So there's no point for a ladder to actually be involved.
Yes.
Do you want me to say this bit? Liam has tiny pants, Dan, as well.
Lovely.
One thing I noticed.
Well, we get an elbow off the ladder by Kidd. Must have been at least 4 feet in the air.
Well, Robbie X, nice moonsault off the ladder.
And then we get a handspring RKO by Rob.
Yeah, and then sent off the ladder.
Liam went and get another ladder.
I mean, it was a bigger ladder. It must have been at least 5 foot tall.
At least 8 foot tall. We see a Lionheart rock bottom. We see Lionheart rock the ladder.
Kidd climbs, sends Hart off, and grabs the briefcase.
And young face, nothing special, short hair, bland body, red trunks.
Yeah, so that's what Kidd looks like. And Rachel interviews Kidd. It was an awful promo.
His dad called him a wanker.
Yeah. Adam Maxted, Love Island. I know you're a big fan. And Nathan Cruz versus Doug Williams and HT Drake.
Well, Doug is a legend from TNA and lots more for him.
And let's not forget the 2 Love Island guys matching bathrobes for them, which I quite liked.
Indeed, yes. And Doug started same weekend as Shane. 25 years, might be his last year.
So Doug Williams saying he might be retiring soon. He went through the pace at the beginning and then tagged in Drake.
Well, Doug gets a hot tag.
Yeah, but tags back in Drake, who gets caught and pinned.
Yeah.
And then the main event is Viper v Kaylee Ray versus New Zealand Will Ospreay girlfriend Bea Priestley. That's how she was in commentators actually came down as well. We knew she was from New Zealand and Will Ospreay's girlfriend before we found out her name. And that wasn't a bad match at all. Kaylee Ray won and became the World of Sport Women's Champion.
And that moves us on to week 3, and we get a promo to start, and Joe Hendry gets revenge tonight.
So Alex Shane is basically against Stu on Bennett on commentary. We've got the kind of good and heel. You know, Bennett likes all the bad guys. Alex Shane's a fan of the faces. They set this stall out quite early.
Yes, well, we get Justin Seisman versus Brown tonight.
Grado confronts Stu Bennett.
And he says, give him one last chance. Be serious.
Yep. So Bennett says, I'll give you one more chance if you're serious. Grado comes out in a suit, and I called it, Dan.
Yes, and I'm sure your mum was upset that you got that bonus point over her.
Yeah, well, going up versus Shah Samuel. Shah is laughing at Grado.
Well...
Oh, no, it's just, glasses.
He's got glasses on now, so he is serious, and he walks his dog 36 times.
Because Shah's doing exercise. So, I don't do exercise, pal. I walk my dog at least 36 times. It's a basic heel versus face match.
Well, Shu says Grado is a stain on the underwear of life. And
then, quite predictably, he gets rid of the suit during the match, a la Steve Austin. And
we see a Grado cutter for the win. Now, I'll be more interested in Stu versus Grado than going for the title, but we shall see.
We shall see. You know, best use of a diamond cutter in wrestling today with Grado.
Go fuck yourself.
So we move on to a grudge match, which is Joe Hendry versus Martin Kirby. Hendry's been featured every week so far.
And it is your classic heel versus face again.
Kirby walked middle rope, but missed with the elbow.
And it is the best match on the show since Will Ospreay.
Yep. Hendry, the ankle lock was taught to him by Kurt Angle.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Kirby got out of it and used the ropes to win.
All right, so we've got the tag tournament. BT Gunn and Stevie Boy look like a tripped out Ascension versus CJ Banks and Brad Slayer.
Thought Banks was in a team with Bree and Shah. Well, I thought Banks was in a team with Brown and Shah.
Yeah, but he obviously could team up with someone else to be in part of a tag team tournament. Faces in control early. Val likes the look of most guys on commentary.
And did you know that Kaylee Ray and Stevie Ray are together?
Really? Did not know that. She got into wrestling thanks to him.
Well, didn't you know that Stevie Ray, Kaylee Ray?
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. And they're both Scottish as well.
Well, Brad was tagging him like he was high-fiving, but very gaily.
Yeah, and they were really weird tags. I can't really explain it without... It's like this, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? I'm scared to contact.
Like McIntyre and Ziggler.
BT Gunn got the hot tag, double team for the win.
Yes, and it was the biggest opportunity for Gabriel Kidd going against 36 Stone Crater.
Yeah, 36 Stone Crater, honestly. And this was the opportunity that he won in the ladder match, was to go against Crater, which kind of made no sense whatsoever. He won a contract to fight him. It was horrible.
So it was a bit of a squash match.
Yeah, it was a choke slam, and Kidd is out and taken away by the paramedics.
And we go into our main event, which is Sizem versus Brown.
Yeah, and that's heel versus face. Brown, mate, can retain. It was the worst show so far.
So, episode 4 starts off. We get a recap of last week's action.
We get the women's title match. It's New Zealand's Bea Priestley, Will Ospreay's girlfriend, versus Kaylee Ray.
And we get a attack from behind to start.
Kaylee Ray is over, though.
Yes, but was beaten down through the match.
Viper came down and took out both women.
Yes, and we get a new woman has arrived.
It's Aisha, and I'll tell you who she looks like, Dan. Do you remember Shaniqua?
No.
Oh, okay. We're part of the Basham Brothers. If anybody does, looks a little like that. Stu breaks up the action.
Well, next week we get an over-the-top rope royal. We get an over-the-top rope battle royal, and the winner faces the champ.
Well, Grado is in Stu's office.
Well, Bennett's not happy. Grado says, win. He won. He wants one more chance, and he'll be in tag team tourney if he can find a partner.
And Will Ospreay is in action.
He shouldn't win, really.
He's versus Martin Kirby. He's a bald tag team hating guy.
Well, Will is great Superman pose.
Yeah, it is the greatest Superman pose that I've seen in professional wrestling, Dan.
Not as good as Ricochet's.
Well, you argue about that. Go on to our YouTube channel, WNet Review Podcast. Look up Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, 6:30 Splash, and you will see the video that we took when we saw them both face off in RevPro, weirdly enough. So you can
in an
check that out.
English promotion,
Yeah, exactly.
yes.
English promotion. It's like you planned it, Dan, but we actually haven't. Beautiful. Best match in the series so far.
Yes, we get a Kirby suicide dive and fisherman's pile driver.
Yeah, Alex called it a Spanish fly.
Well, you know, they're not as good as commentating as us, but never mind. Well, Kirby walked the second rope and Will hit a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, dive outside, handspring moonsault.
A 450, but Kirby...
I know, and then the Ospreay driver for the win.
Yes, they missed the trick with Grado going backstage to look for a partner.
I mean, how funny would that be? We know Grado's good in those kind of backstage situations. So it would have been funny to go up and go, do you want to be my partner? Do you want to, you know, and you could have worked that into the show. And then I can't find anybody. And then you surprise him at the end of the night rather than doing what they do.
And you see him talking to someone, but he's off camera.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's
Yeah,
like, oh, you'll put my partner.
Exactly, yeah, aye, you will. And then, you know. Well, here we go. So he faces Robbie X and Crater, yep, masked guys, one's high flyer, one's 30 stone sack of shit. Crater destroys Robbie X.
And Bulldog is his partner.
Oh, no, wait a minute, I'm wrong with you. I'll go back. Yeah, so instead of doing that and finding his partner, he comes out and he's facing Robbie X and Crater. They're both masked guys, one's high flyer and one is a 36 stone sack of shit.
Yes, and James... Bulldog is his partner.
Yeah, British Bulldog. Will he slam Crater over his head with the world watching?
Is he Dave Mastiff only because of beard and can't be the same character due to WWE?
Yeah, unfortunately it's not. Dave Mastiff would have been a step up, but kind of that look, but just a little bit bigger than that.
Well, there was a funny spot. Grado ran into Crater and nearly died.
Yeah, I know. And Crater leaves Robbie X to fend for himself.
Well, we see the Grado cutter for the win.
Yeah, and Crater then returns to beat up Robbie X.
Yes, Smith Grado sends him his way.
Yeah, and then and then Bulldog and Grado sends him on his way to stop attacking poor old Robbie. We get an interview with the champion Rampage Brown.
Yes, and Shah takes over. Liked it.
Yeah, I really did like it. He's like, yeah, come here, you mug. You know what you're talking about. This is the fucking champion. He didn't swear.
You fucking slag.
He's keeping old game up, pub. About world of sport wrestling. Slags. Former number one contender match. We've got Justin Sizem versus Joe Hendry versus Adam Maxted. Just Inside Men is his name, Dan.
Just Inside Men.
Just Inside Men. I can't believe it.
Well, Nathan Cruz swaps with Adam.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, who I've been watching it with, got into the main event of this one, actually. It's weird.
And James is a big fan of Hendry, aren't you, James?
I liked him. I like his style. I like the way he sings as he comes out. And I like the kind of wrestling that he does. Sizem hit a running spear outside in, which I'd never seen before.
Fucking hell. We said discus clothesline for the victory.
Episode 5 on World of Sport. We get a video package of last week's show.
Double Trouble plus women's match and Crater.
Yeah, and we get a tag tourney match to start.
And that is Yestin Reese and Kip Sabian.
Yeah, Kip Grattel promo. It was naff. He does his own entrance. It just wasn't any good. You know, we've seen some good and some bad. This was very holiday campy.
Yes, and they're going, oh, hello, holiday.
No, not like, oh, hello.
Well, they go against BT Gunn and Stevie Boy.
And they get jumped right at the start.
Yeah, the faces take over, double dives to the outside, and lots of double team moves.
It's a standard match. Hills take over. Hot tag for Gunn.
And we get a powerbomb neckbreaker combo. Kip and Yeston win.
Well, Gabriel, he's back. He got stretchered off.
He's bandaged, but wants to fight with Liam Slater versus Crater.
Crater stays on the outside, and a wrestling match starts between the two.
Well, Mick McManus, British catch-can style wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite impressive between the two. And then Crater gets involved, and he beats the shit out of Slater.
Yeah, and they double team him.
Yeah, Crater double choke slam and splash. He pinned them both.
Nathan Cruz and Adam Maxted versus Grado and Billow wearing matching Union Jack outfits.
Yeah, I quite like it. I thought it was cool. Cruz starts with Davey, and then the faces are in control.
Yes, Grado landed weirdly and hurt his leg.
Yeah, Cruz started attacking it and tells Adam to hurt him. He seems not to want to.
And Grado taps in the figure 4, quite surprising.
I thought if you're going to put the two kind of biggest faces on the show, you would have them go through to the final, but obviously not. You got two each other in the final.
Yes, and we get a women's battle royal.
We've got Kaylee Ray, we've got B. Priestley,
Aisha,
Casey Owens,
and Viper.
There was an awful lot of botches. Owens is gone by Aisha.
B's gone by Viper.
Aisha messed up powerbomb and can be seen talking.
The crowd was really quiet through this one.
Aisha's gone, but Viper throwing Kay into her.
And Viper's gone by super kick on the apron.
That's a better predictive one, isn't it? If you ever seen a super cock in your life. It was not a great episode, but tickets are on sale for their tour, and that's in January. So anybody wants to see World of Sport, and it is available to see, even though their programs aren't on demand, which I don't really understand at the moment. You can't see them on Sky. The tour is starting in January. They're going a few places, so check that up if you do. And the whole point of today's episode is to check in on your action around you, you know. So we move on to episode 6.
Yes, and it feels more like a recap from last week.
Bulldog makes his way out, and he's going against Rampage. He's flanked by CJ Banks and, of course, Shah Samuels.
Well, Brown takes control just because he's better and doesn't need the heels ring pish.
The thing is, right, in a face versus heel match, a face should always be in control until a heel cuts him off in some unhanded tactic, whether it be like not proper rope break or poke to the eye or distraction. Not just because he's a better wrestler. In this match, David Boy Smith, British Bulldog, and Brown just was better. And I just thought, what the fuck? Especially when you got the two guys at ringside who could have done something, they actually didn't. You know. Bulldog standing suplex, but again, he made a mistake to let Brown in.
Yes, we see a knee attack from behind the ref's back.
Northern Lights, he collapsed under the weight.
Running power slam, but I rake them DDT, and Brown gets the victory.
So if he's beaten, Grado's not worthy enough. Bulldog is just lost. Then who is going to be the next big face of the company?
What about Justin Sideman?
Well, he's helped, but Stu says 2-on-1. If he can win, he's on the Brown.
And Brown is a slang word for heroin.
I know, I was going to snooker reference, but don't worry. It's tight Brown. Up next is Joe Hendry versus Kirby.
Yes, submission.
Yeah, submission grudge match. And Kirby got an arm in a sling. So up next, Joe Hendry versus Kirby. It's a submission grudge match, but Kirby's got his arm in the sling. And he said he can't wrestle, but why has he got his wrestling trunks on? And even Alex Shane points that out. If he is injured, why has he come out dressed to compete? He's got a doctor's note. He's got a note. Well, we think it's a doctor's note. It says he's got a hamstring and man flu doing his hair, but it's from his mum. And that is actually quite funny. It's not an actual doctor's note. And Stu was agreeing with this because he's a heel when he was going, of course, you can take, the night off. But Joe grabbed him with his bad arm, and the match just started like that because we realised Kirby wasn't faking it.
Well, Kirby is working well as a heel.
Sorry, go on.
And it was a good match, and Hendry gets the victory.
Kirby was getting the fans into him here, and even though it was a small arena, even smaller than NXT UK, the heat he was getting was quite good.
Yes, and next up is the final of the tag team title tournament, and it is Adam Maxted and Nathan Cruz going against Kip Sabian and Yeston Reese.
Well, they're both heel teams, but the crowd went back and forth.
Yeah, Maxted gets worked over for a lot of the match.
Yeah, Cruz got the hot tag, powerbomb neckbreaker combo, and Kip Yeston wins. And then Maxted attacked by Cruz afterwards. They're a team no more. Who would have thought that, Dan?
Well, it's Sizem versus Banks with Shah in his corner.
They beat him up all match, but Sizem still managed to make a comeback. Brown comes out, and just they stare off. And
and Justin finishes them both off. He hits the 450.
So Rampage came to the, not even in ringside area at the stage. Sizem left the two opponents, stared at him, still came in, and then beat the two as well. So I was just like, oh, okay. So he crack at the title after he hits the 450. They are building Sizem up just inside men as the next big star.
Well, the next episode we get a recap of late week or last week.
And we get Grado and Kirby back, plus Crater 3-on-1 and Maxted versus Cruz in a loser leaves town ladder match tonight.
And Cruz is out here.
He doesn't owe anybody an explanation.
Adam gets love from little people and tries to jump on his back. Which we know.
Didn't need to be a ladder match, did it?
Nope, Adam showed a bit of fire and crowd were onto this one.
Well, nice springboard dropkick by Adam onto ladder. Does a save move, this time with a forearm to win the match.
He vows he will return.
So Nathan Cruz is gone from the world of sport. And we get Stu and Sizen backstage.
And he will team with Hendry going against Shah and Brown.
And we get Kid versus Crater versus Robbie X versus Liam Slater now. But it's a triple team, and they triple dive, and then all three dives. So it's meant to be a fatal four-way, but they turn it into a handicap match. Crater actually gets that back down to a knee, back in, and he takes out all three. But surprisingly, they all team up and pin Crater.
Well, Crater's back up, and refs and security split up.
Yeah. And then we get Kirby versus Grado next.
Well, Kirby starts off with a cheap shot, but Grado gets back into it, and it is a standard Grado match.
Kirby's a good worker. He's bum bag and he brings out the toothbrush and both men fight over it like it's some kind of knife they're going to stab each other with. And Grado sticks that in his mouth with the toothbrush. Kirby's feet on the rope, but he gets win, so Grado's lost yet again.
And we get a tag team main event.
And we've got, of course, like we said, Joe Hendry and Sizen versus Samuels and Banks. And kids behind Sizer, but no one. The kids are behind Sizer, but no one else. He's like a British John Cena.
Well, it is 2-on-1 at the moment.
Hendry gets a hot tag.
Well, Justin gets back in.
Brown is back up the ramp.
450 on Shah for the win.
So this interference by Brown has been awful because they've lost the last two main events. You believe that? Episode 8, we get a recap of last week, and the first match is Viper versus Aisha.
Well, Viper's better than this, and it felt very holiday camp.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Viper in the Mae Young Classic, haven't we? And I felt a bit like Aisha, where she could be fighting people like Toni Storm and Io Shirai. And it's her choice, don't get me wrong, she's doing well in Japan, but still. Viper was a face, but in control. Viper beats her with a Viper drive, and she faces Kaylee Ray next week for the women's title.
And we see Viper backstage, and she's happy because she did it.
Yeah. So the next is couple versus couple. It's Stevie Boy and Kaylee Ray versus Will Ospreay and B. Priestley.
Yes, and that was a great match.
It was double Germans and suicide, women on men. That's what I liked about it, proper intergender stuff.
Well, Will gets a Hurricane Rana and he landed on his feet.
Spanish Fly and Will finishes for the victory.
And we get Yeston Reese versus Bulldog.
Big man versus big man.
Oh, a lot of back and forth in that match.
Well, Davy's trunks look cheap. He's got like kind of just normal purple trunks with like a Canadian flag on top, you know what I mean, like a Canadian sticker and then a British sticker on the like. Mate, don't you make enough money to have just kind of like? Do you know what I mean?
Did
like,
his old man make enough money?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he's being a British Bulldog, why can't he wear his Bulldog's own old trousers, whether his trunks
or he might go into the jeans.
Whatever it is, better than this kind of cheap look. And, like, if I was managing Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog...
Isn't he Davey Hartsmith?
He's David Hartsmith, who goes by so many different names. He's allowed to go by British Bulldog in here, but there was so much I'd change for him. Not only his kind of upper body look style, but just everything, his demeanour, a bit of aggression. I put Drew McIntyre inside him, So, anyway, yesterday's running power slam for the win, Bulldog does it.
Yes, and the main event is Mark versus Mask.
Yeah, so it's Mask versus Mask.
Versus Mask.
Who is going to lose their mask? It's Crater versus Robbie X.
And it wasn't a bad match, and Robbie gets the victory.
Unbelievably, Robbie manages to sneak it. Yet when the mask is taken off, we don't really get to see Crater's face. He just leaves. Episode 9, we get a preview tonight. It's the women's title, and it's the men's #1 contendership match.
And we start off with Viper versus Kaylee Ray.
This is awesome chance.
It was a really good match. Wouldn't be out of place if it was on a takeover.
No, I know. Kaylee Ray wins. This is what both women can do. Kaylee Ray probably hasn't got that kind of superstar look, shall we say. But I think Viper definitely has down the road. Viper should be moving on to bigger and better things.
Can't get much bigger than Viper. Well, we get the World of Sport buzzer battle.
Yeah, right. Let me explain this to you. So, Steve Bennett explained that we are going to get the World of Sport buzzer battle royal. Elimination tag match. When he presses buzzer, one person joins each team. Pins, submissions, DQs, countouts. When 8 men's left, they turn into a battle royal and the winner will face the World of Sport champion. Do you understand that?
Not in the slide.
Well, it starts 1-on-1.
And that is Robbie X and Kip Sabian.
Yeah. And Stevie Boy and BT Gunn on different team, even though they're tag team partners.
Well, Yeston Reese is tag champ on Kip's team.
And Liam Slater's there. They're tag finisher. They tag in his partner, and he refuses.
Well, he tags out. Kip gets pinned, and that was Ace.
Stevie Boy out.
Kip slapped Gunn.
Yeah, finisher on Gunn. Slater got tagged in and pinned by...
And the buzzer, Grado and Shah Samuels go on heel team.
Yeah, so it's the Butcher and the Joker. See what I did there. Val touched Stu's buzzer.
Oh. Well, Davey and CJ Banks come in.
Grado, Davey and tag champs all eliminated in a brawling outside.
And this sets up the match for next week.
And Maxted's here.
He gets attacked from behind by Cruz.
Well, Cruz is not sanctioned, but Stu likes it.
Well, Justin...
He comes out wearing a mask he lost last week.
Well, he might have lost that mask, but he's got a different mask.
And the last man is Gabriel Kidd and Moose.
Moose from Impact Wrestling.
Moose from Impact Wrestling.
Moose.
Yes. Moose. You can tell me more about Moose, because I had no fucking clue who he was.
Well, he's a former NFL and Global Force Wrestling star. He turned heel just before he left Impact Wrestling.
I hate him. I hate him.
Moose.
I hate
Don't
the
you
Moose.
think, like, did he have his headband
Yeah,
on?
he had a headband, and
Yeah.
they kept calling him former NFL player, and I hate that. I mean, my list of Mojo and Mongo, and then all of a sudden this motherfucker comes along.
No, I'll tell you what, Moose isn't that bad, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, fair play.
I'll give him a bit of time a day.
All right, fair play, fair play.
Moose.
Well, special surprise, few high spots. Robbie pinned by Nathan. Crater takes out Slater, and then it's
Buzzer Royale time, or
Yes.
Battle Royale time.
Kid eliminated by Shah Samuels.
Cruz from He Returns the Favour.
Yeah, as we've seen in the Royal Rumble before. Moose sends Banks and Shah out.
Well, Crater left.
And then Moose gone.
Justin left.
And then Justin wins the match because we all thought he'd been eliminated, but he managed to get the job done.
And episode 10, it is the final one. We get a recap of last week.
Yeah, Stu's in ring, gives us 2 matches.
First, tag team titles on the line.
It's Grado and Bulldog versus Yeston Reese and Kip Sabian.
And Grado kicked out
Ah.
of the finisher.
And it's new tag team champions.
Well, Stu says Grado showed him something. He's clapping for him.
So all these problems Bennett has had with Grado, he finally sees saying, we got new World of Sport tag team champions, and Bennett's happy.
We get a promo video for Sizem. Never give up. More like X fucking Factor.
Yeah, honestly, it really was. Tonight, Justin Sizem become champion. I've worked for this all my life, ever since my grand died. You know what I mean? It was a really long match.
And Stu actually took my match thing and said it was at least half an inch thick.
I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, you bastard. You've been listening to the WNR podcast
Yes.
and Nick and Dan's thing. This was hard work. It was 2 ref bumps, but he does actually beat Rampage Brown, gets the belt, and fireworks.
Yes, and Bennett goes into the ring. Rampage stops him, so he knocks him out and hands the belt to Justin Sizeman.
The biggest pop of the night, the biggest pop of all the shows, was when Stu Bennett hit the forearm. I can't remember what he called it now. What did he used to call it?
The bullhammer.
The bullhammer elbow on Rampage Brown. And why wasn't Stu Bennett wrestling? I don't know. I mean, it was good, it was bad, it was ugly. But again, it's an alternative, you know. They should stop trying to be WWE light. Obviously, they've got a man with just inside man that they want to go with. But I thought it was enjoyable. And it's only 10 weeks, and I know it got horrible ratings, and it was, you know, it moved the times, and there probably won't be another series of it. But at least they tried, damn it, you know.
But you know, he gets to showcase a lot of talent. You see the likes of Will Ospreay, which, you know, if you can see there against anyone, it is worth watching. You see, you know, the likes of Viper, who should be in NXT without a doubt.
Yeah.
You see, you know, the British Bulldog son, for God's sake. You see Moose showcasing. You see a fucking 36-stone Crater.
Yeah.
Who lost his mask, then comes out next week with a mask.
Oh, no. There was too many things like that kind of went wrong, but it was a nice try anyway from World of Sport. And it should, you know, if you do try and catch it, go and see it, because you will see people like Grado is very entertaining, and the Bulldog's a good worker, and like you say, if Will Ospreay's involved as well, then it is going to be worthwhile, and it is going to be a lot cheaper than WWE as well.
Do you think Grado is a character that could work in WWE?
No. They don't think funny is money, and I don't think Grado's got the kind of look or anything really to do it.
You know, he did have a bit of a stint in Global Force Wrestling Impact. You know, he was kind of teaming up with Abyss.
Parks.
Joseph Parks.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jack Parks was trying to make him the next big thing, and, you know, that was quite an interesting storyline. It only lasted for about a couple of months. But, you know, it is a bit of a recognition for, again, British wrestlers.
And, again, if it does change, then I can say Grado, yes, he will make it to the WWE as well. Just in case, you can never say never in wrestling. So let's go back to NXT UK. And we're on episode 5, and this is November 7th, 2018. Filmed July 29th in Cambridge still. Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness on commentary.
Yes, and match 1 is Dave Mastiff versus Damien Weir.
Squash. It's in all possible ways.
Yes, we see a video package from Ligero, and he wants to stand out.
We get a video James Drake has travelled the world to become an elite sport.
We get another video, and Ginny is here to show the world that the UK division... Ginny is here to show the world that the UK women's division is hers.
Backstage, Danny Burch warms up for his match later tonight.
And match 2 is Ligero versus James Drake.
Well, it's a good match. Ligero is fun to watch, and Drake is easy to dislike. I liked how these two men worked together. It wasn't a terribly long match, but you couldn't get a pretty good sense of what they can both do in the ring.
Yes, and backstage, Ramsey welcomes Toni Storm. Storm faces Dakota Kai next week, and she has no question that she will win. Dakota Kai, who was apparently standing right behind Storm, says she respects Toni. Kai says she's willing to kick anyone in the head to get what she wants, though. And that includes Toni Storm. The two women agree to have some friendly competition.
We get a video looking at Ashton Smith.
And we get a selfie promo. Zach Gibson says he will soon become champ.
Well, Ashton Smith begins to head to the ring for a match, but Wolfgang and the Kofi brothers attack him on the stage. They throw Smith to the backstage area before heading to the ring.
Well, Joe Coffey doesn't care that no one likes him. He likes to surround himself with people of the same mentality, such as Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. Joe sees NXT UK as a hierarchy, and if you're not on top, you'll be disposed of. NXT UK is Coffey's kingdom.
Well, backstage, Razzie asks Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster while they're waiting outside Johnny Saint's office. They want to ask Saint about settling business with the Coffey brothers and Wolfgang. Ashton Smith walks by, and he wants in on whatever they planned.
And match 3 is Sid Scala, the man who got completely squashed, versus Eddie Dennis.
Well, unfortunately for him, it was a pretty good match, but this was a showcase for Dennis, and he looked fine. He's certainly taller than Scala, I give him that. Other than the fact that he has a power-based attack, there's not much more I can really say with just this match.
Yes, and we go backstage, and Pete Dunne looks determined and or angry.
I think he looks angry. Angry. So yes, match 4 is United Kingdom title matches. Danny Burch versus Pete Dunne, and what a match this should be. So here comes Danny Burch, and yeah, he just wants to fucking fight. He wants to fight Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne wants to fight him. And winner of that, I mean, they're just going to fight. And then you get at my pub. You know, it's about family, it's about the NXT UK title. I'm like, here, come here. All right, Danny Burch to win, 5-1. Put it on there. In play odds. What's your best
Alright, you slag. Get out my pub. It's about family.
It's about family. I hate you, I do. Not as much as I hate you. So here comes Pete Dunne. I'm going to speak like this, Dan, because this is my real voice. We've all heard my posh voice. We've all heard what everybody thought was my fucking normal voice. But now this is my proper accent.
Both men just feeling each other out. Danny Burch knows that this match doesn't come round often. He knows title opportunities are few and far between. So he's going to make the very most of this one. We saw him punish Noam Dar like this in the very first main event of the very first episode.
So who's a tougher opponent then?
Well, if you're talking about momentum, I'd say Pete Dunne. But if you're talking about general toughness, if you're talking about just general toughness and craziness in the ring, I'm going to have to give it to Danny Burch. I mean, you know, we've seen him in his brutal contests against Oney Lorcan before they decided to finally become probably what is one of my favourite tag teams. And, you know, they're making strides on NXT in America. Former NXT tag team champions. Nearly.
Yeah, they came close. They couldn't get the job done. Like I was saying, this should be a great contest because you talk about a true veteran in Danny Burch. He's got all the experience in the world, been there and fucking done that, as they say. You know, and he just picked up so much experience on the road. He's not done. Pete Dunne is full of confidence at the moment. He's been champ over 550 days, like we mentioned. He's just beating everybody that's been put in front of him. But it's got to come to an end soon. I do not now believe, it's like a child being told Father Christmas ain't real. I do not believe streaks will continue. I think they always will break. And Pete Dunne is an impressive streak for UK Championship, but it will come to an end, I feel, sooner rather than later. And I thought Dahl would get the job done. I'm sure about Danny Burch, but this is all taking it out of Pete Dunne as well. And as you said, he's fighting on all fronts. He's fighting in NXT, fighting in War Games, you know, the most vicious match type that there is. And now he's going to NXT UK and fighting everybody that's there. You know, if you gave the guy a chance to go up to the main roster or 205 Live and have a crack at it, you know. But it's going to catch up with Dunne soon. We've already heard about certain injuries. And you know, and he's definitely got a massive target on his back. Now he's opened up for a kind of of people to go after him. You know, you talk about the Coffee Brothers. You got Wolfgang now. We've seen even people that we didn't really think about, Danny Burch and Nandar. They wouldn't be top of our list of people who's in line for a UK title shot. You know, maybe you say Zach Gibson or someone like that, but not those two. And that's what I kind of like about it at the moment. You know, like on 205 Live, you kind of got anybody can really win the title if you think about it. I hope it's the same in NXT UK, that anybody could just, you know, come along, and as long as they were, you know, liked enough by the fans, they could actually have an opportunity at the title. And maybe it won't be like a kind of big hulking guy to take Pete Dunne down. It might be someone like Dar or even Mark Andrews, you know, would be a good shout. Tyler Bate is still quite a small guy, and he deserves an opportunity not only in the tag team ranks, but in single competition as well.
Yeah, well, you know, we talk about Danny Burch. From 2011 to 2014, he was in NXT. He's fought, you know, he was used sporadically as enhancement talent down there. He went to TNA for a year. And then he come back to NXT in 2015. You know, he's lost to, he's faced Kevin Owens, Apollo Crews, Ty Dillinger, James Storm, Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano after he teamed up with Rob Rising. He's lost to the Bollywood Boys.
But the thing about this match is I can watch it all day. I enjoy the style of Pete Dunne. Like I've never seen a boring match of his. And also the style to Danny Burch, like talk about the destroyer type of just keep going until the very end. You know, Dunne might overestimate Danny Burch in this, but he is tough as old boots. So we see him, you know, take a licking and keep on kicking. And now Dunne has just been in control of this match. Just working the arm over, just you see it, the contortion of it. He's a joint specialist. And Burch is struggling at the moment, just being backed up, basically one arm. And if he chops Dunne, Dunne just seems to power up. But Burch is getting out of it now. Now 6-7 chops. Dunne hasn't responded yet. Backed up in the second rope. Comes in with a clothesline. Burch dodges, hits a nice uppercut. Backing Dunne up into the corner. Burch now runs in. Big forearm to the face. Clothesline. And now step up insecurity to Pete Dunne. Rolls him through. Second rope. Burch looking to hit something special.
Seated drop kick there from Burch.
Pete Dunne looked like he got thrown out of a moving auto vehicle, backed up into the turnbuckle, and Burch shows beating down for the past 5 minutes or so, and managing to nip up now. Crowd slowly get behind Danny Burch.
Drops Dunne with a powerbomb Rolls him through with a knee to the jaw. This could be it.
I think his jaw's broken. Goes for the cover.
Oh, only a 2 count though.
2. I thought Dunn was in serious trouble there.
Well, Danny Burch made his debut when Pete Dunne was just 10 years old.
That's crazy. Well, Dunn is still a young lad. So how old is Pete Dunne?
He was born in 1993. I'd say about 23. He's 24 because he's a 9/11 boy. Not September the 11th, November the 9th.
And now Dunn with a huge forearm hits Burch. Irish whip in the corner. Dunn jumps over Burch and then runs back in. Another step up in Seguri. Onto the second rope himself now.
And stomping onto the left elbow of Danny Burch.
Huge bruiserweight chance as he grabs the arm of Burch. No, he's not. He twists it around on the apron.
On the hardest part of the ring.
Oh! Well, there ain't nothing you can say about that. That is just... There's nothing you can say about that. Just viciousness by Pete Dunne to Burch. Going outside now on the stairs.
Slapping his hand onto the steel ring steps.
Oh, went to stomp, but Burch dodged it. And he threw Dunne's leg out and he hit his head first on the stairs.
And a German suplex on the outside.
And now is this Burch's chance to maybe just get back into the match? He's being controlled, but if he can get level pegging, maybe he can actually pull a win out. Dunne's thrown in and now Burch comes towards him.
Dunne looking for a triangle choke.
Well, was Dunne playing possum there? Hello, possums! He jumped on Danny Burch as soon as he got in the ring, grabbed the arm, but now Burch showing that he's got strength in himself, picks up Pete Dunne.
Oh, buckle bomb.
Well, Dunne's back of his head hit that top turnbuckle. Be out here. But Burch feeling it again. And now Dunne on that apron getting taken up to the top. Danny Burch planned here.
Well, he's got Pete Dunne perched on the top turnbuckle.
Looks like he's trying to German suplex Dunne back in.
Dunne's holding on for dear life though. Can he break the grip of Pete Dunne?
And he works on the arm earlier and it's coming back to fruition now. Managing to twist and turn it. And the elbow's in trouble, but Burch, to his credit, is still holding on. No. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Well, a German suplex turned Pete Dunne inside out.
Well, if Burch can get the cover, we might have a new UK champion. Arm over to... Oh!
And Dunne managing to kick out.
Oh my God! So the impact there, Pete Dunne. Charting this is wrestling. It's been a great encounter for the two men. Both men having to use the ropes to get up. And both men just staring at each other saying, come on, let's finish this. Both men run into a clothesline, a punch, a slap, second slap.
Step up in Seguri from Dunne. Turns him inside out with a suplex, goes straight for the cross arm breaker. Burch rolls through, got the crossface. Dunne rolls him over for a cover.
Oh.
And Burch managing to get the shoulder up at 2.
2. Now both men exchanging forearms. Burch again trying to German suplex Dunne. He lands on his feet low and kicks the back of Danny Burch's head off. Runs in the ropes.
Oh, and Burch clotheslines him through, turning him inside out.
Just brilliant stuff for the two men.
Oh, brilliant back and forth between these two guys.
Yeah, NXT chants. The crowd are into it. We're into it. Fight forever chant. And Burch might be just seconds away for becoming the new NXT UK champion. But Dunlop grabs the hand of Burch, twists the fingers.
As he's kicking away at the head of Burch and he's still got hold of his hand.
Oh my God, these are vicious kicks. Must be at least 10 or 11 kicks.
At least 13 to 15 kicks.
And Burch might not know where he is. And is Dunn going to call for it? Burch is up!
Headbutt to the chest.
He's up! Got him now, suplex on the ropes. Oh!
Draping DDT.
1, 2, oh! And at the last second, Dunn managing to kick out.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And a standing O for everybody in the crowd.
And Danny Burch is getting a well-deserved chant from the crowd.
And now he's got the crossface in. Near enough middle of the ring. But Dunn is on his knees though. Which helps the bruiserweight move around. And dragging him through, rolls round, and now he's caught. Burch.
Dunn is down.
Burch is just pulling back. But again, Dunn managing to find a way out. Ripping the fingers, but only for a second. And now Birch is really going to snap the neck of Dunn in a minute. Oh, nearly tapping out.
But Dunn going for the nose of Danny Birch.
By any means necessary. Oh, now looking for the bitter end to Birch.
Hits it.
Goes for the cover.
2.
Oh!
Well, Danny Birch managing to kick out.
Wow, did not see that coming. And now they're locked, and we don't know which way it's going to go, but uh-oh. Done.
He's got the triangle locked in while manipulating the fingers.
The British Wrestling chant, but this might just be over now. Birch ever so close to tapping. Referee checking that Dunn's shoulders aren't down. Uh-oh, now he's completely turned it round. Oh, my God.
Wrenching the fingers apart.
Oh, my God, he has to tap out. Dunn is vicious there. Well, the bitter end couldn't get the job done, but breaking the fingers. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely brutal match. I thought it was over at the bitter end, but that obviously wasn't the bitter end of this match. Absolutely great between the two again, and it just goes to show what a brilliant hot prospect Danny Birch is, even though he's, 38 now?
Yeah, he's a veteran. But, I mean, what a performance from Danny Birch and Pete Dunne as well. We can't say... You know, I don't know what other words I can use to describe Pete Dunne at this moment in time. He's just on such a fine form, and I think it's criminal if people don't realise what he's doing at this moment. You know, for the past two and a half years, since the very first UK tournament, this guy's been on fire, baby. Do you know what I mean? And he delivers every fucking time. What a champion, mate! The best champion in WWE right now is Pete Dunne. You know,
definitely. Well, who can actually stop the charge of Pete Dunne?
I don't think it's possible at this moment in time. So it's episode 6 next, and it is November the 7th, 2018, and it was not 2018, still from Cambridge. So 6 episodes at this TV taping. Commentators Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness.
Well, we go outside the venue, and Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers arrive at the venue earlier today.
We see a video with clips of Tony Storm winning the Mae Young Classic at Evolution.
And then we go on to match 1, which is Tony Storm versus Dakota Kai.
Well, very good match. Storm dominated large portions of it, but Kai kept in the fight with placed kicks. This was very entertaining.
Yes, and after the match, Storm and Kai embrace. Kai leaves and heads to the backstage area, but she is attacked from behind by Ginny as she makes it to the stage. Ginny stares at Storm as she says that this is her NXT. Ginny walks away while Storm leaves the ring to help Kai to her feet.
Ooh. Well, backstage, Zach Gibson walks down some stairs. I'm sure he did it in a very imposing way.
And on to match 2, and it is Amir Jordan versus Zach Gibson.
Well, Amir Jordan looks fun, but Zach Gibson doesn't care about fun. This was a mostly dominant performance from Gibson.
And after the match, Zach Gibson says that he will soon be recognised as the NXT UK's #1. The crowd constantly boos Gibson as he goes on and on. Eventually, Trent Seven comes out to the stage to stop Gibson's monologue.
Well, Seven can't understand what goes on in Gibson's shiny, sweaty head. Where was Gibson when Trent Seven and everyone else was making history in the first UK tournament? But Gibson did do something in the second tournament. He made everyone take their shoes off.
Well, Seven enters the ring and suggests that he and Gibson have a fight. Gibson circles Seven, but Gibson quickly exits the ring. There will be no fight tonight.
Kenny Williams says he's lucky in a self-promo video.
I'm lucky! And match 3, Kenny Williams versus Jordan Devlin.
Good match. This was pretty even at first, but Williams pulled ahead with speed and a succession of dives. Williams looked good, but one big move from Devlin halted all of his momentum.
And backstage, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews and Ashton Smith prepare for their tag match.
And this is our main event that we're watching right now. It's just started with Wolfgang and Flash Morgan Webster in the ring. And of course we've got Ashton Smith, Mark Andrews on one side and Joe and Mark Coffey on the other. And they said it's going to be the Coffey's Kingdom.
What about Wolfgang?
And now Joe gets tagged in. Forget about Wolfgang. He's been tagged out now. And he's in with Andrews, who's also in. So we've seen 4 of the 6 already. And Andrews, who beat, of course, Wolfgang to cause all these problems that we saw a couple of weeks ago. And Joe looked impressive in the first episode. Tries to snap there, Andrews. Andrews lands on his feet.
Will Barrowby getting spun round by Joe Coffey.
Oh my God, and sits out with him. Goes for the cover, but Andrews managing to kick out.
Ah.
And now he takes in his brother, Jewel. Now he tags in his brother Mark. And Mark is slowly working over Mark Andrews. Goes for the backdrop, lands on his feet, and now he tags in Ashton Smith.
Who we haven't seen.
We haven't seen in this match yet. Gets a couple of shots. Of course, he got attacked, didn't he, last week? Couldn't participate in that match by the Coffee Brothers, so we're sure of it. And now Ashton Smith looking very impressive. Goes for the cover, but only gets a 1.
1.
Ashton's a fast motherfucker.
Has he got shite on the back of his trunk? Look, it says shite.
It sounds like shite.
Look.
It does say
Shite.
Oh my god, and then after all 6 men square off each other, if he takes control, Mark with a cheap shot, but Ashton dodges it for a nice shot to the face. Of course, we saw Ashton Smith in the UK tourney, and now big double axe smash, sending Mark back.
Big right hands at the head.
And Drake Maverick said that Ashton Smith's got the biggest superstar potential of anybody, and if Drake Maverick is saying that, Dan, just a big chop to the chest, and now tags in his brother jaw. And Ashton is in the wrong part of town.
And Smith struggling here against the Coffees.
My God, look at the power and strength of Coffee. I mean, does it to Andrews and you go, okay, yeah, Andrews is a cruiserweight. Ashton Smith is not a cruiserweight. He's a big man, and he's getting manhandled here by Joe Coffey. And now they tag in Wolfgang. Wolfgang's been part of this unholy stable that we've seen. 3 very dangerous men. We ask who's going to beat Pete Dunne for the title. I suggest to you, Dan, it's one of these 3 on the Hill team. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I'd say more likely to be one of the Coffees.
And Andrews, though, gets tagged in. Sorry to stop your train of thought there. Ashton gets the tag. And now Andrews trying to work away on Wolfgang.
Could he pick up another shock victory over Wolfgang?
He's going to try. I tried to Irish whip him there. Couldn't get the job done, but a step up in Seguri. Stepped up to the second rope.
Hurricane Rana.
Takes him down eventually. And now Mark comes in. And Andrews getting distracted. This is not the best idea.
Well, again, the Coffey brothers providing a distraction.
And Wolfgang showing a bit of experience, even though they've only been together recently. Throwing him out to Joe. Then get the referee to be distracted by Morgan Flash Webster and Ashton Smith.
Webster Morgan Flash.
And now Webster Morgan Flash looking to get the tag in, but his pal Mandrew's getting beaten on at the moment.
And Mandrew's in a lot of trouble here. Joe Coffey running through the ringers. But Andrews trying to get some separation. He eventually does, but gets smashed in the face with an elbow.
And there's nothing Andrews can do at the moment. It's going to be a mistake from the Coffees to let him in. I just can't see that happening at this time. Throwing him into the corner. Tags in Wolfgang.
Wolfie's in the ring.
And Wolfgang is a dangerous man indeed. As Andrews desperate for a tag but getting cut off. And a knee to the face might have knocked Mandrews out. Wolfgang goes for the cover, but no, managing to kick out.
Short arm clothesline from Wolfgang to Mandrews.
Well, he got out of that submission, but again, just got stopped. Back into the corner. Mark's in now. And now Mark just working over
Mark
Andrews. He's been in there a while now.
It does say shite on the back of his trunks.
Got the submission there, trying to look it in.
See?
Mark Coffey there was in control as they have been over Mark Andrews for the past 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, Dan.
Well, it looked like a suplex from Mark Coffey to Mandrews, but he turned it into a stunner. Finally getting some separation. Can he tag in Flash Morgan Webster?
He can. He's in, and he's on fire, baby. Here he comes in, and he's on fire. Yeah, knocking Joe Coffey down, going after Wolfgang to Joe. Dodging Wolfgang.
Back to Wolfgang, working on the midsection.
Now here comes the Modfather. And now Joe back in, caught with a knee. Is that a tooth that went flying?
Oh, but the distraction was enough for Wolfgang to get back into this.
Flash Morgan Webster managing to dodge Wolfgang there. Runs round off the second. The moonsault dive.
Corkscrew whisper in the wind.
Goes for the cover. Wolfgang, I imagine, to kick out.
Oh.
And now is Mobster. It's a Mobstar going to put him away. Flash Morgan Webster caught there. Put the feet up low and tags in Ashton Smith.
Bang. Morgan Webster gets deposited to the outside.
Oh.
Smith gets the kick in though.
Big knee. Big boot.
Looks like a Claymore kick that.
And now he's going to put Wolfgang away. Oh my God, no. Tried it. But Mark was on the apron distracting Ashton. My God.
And just throws him at least 7 foot in the air.
At least 25 foot with a pop-up slam. Now tags in Jewel and he tags in Mark. And we've seen these two men before. Double team moves. Pick him up and chop him.
3D! No, pop up forearm.
Goes for the cover. Gets the job done. No!
Ashton Smith, too strong, managing to kick out.
I discredited him there. Still managed to fight in. Smith, it says. And now Ashton Smith, doesn't it?
It's a shake.
It says Smith, you fucking... Oh, super kick by Smith.
Yeah, Mandrew's got the blind tag in.
Oh, Mark Coffey taken out. Joe takes out Smith. Step up Insecurity takes Joe Coffey to the outside. But he's back in. Tags in Wolfgang. Now he's back out. Andrews off the top. Oh my God, second rope moonsault into the Tornado DDT. But luckily for Wolfgang, he lands on the outside. Morgan Webster Flash is tagged in. Here comes Andrews and Smith.
Oh, stereo suicide dives, taking out the Coffees.
And now Wolfgang's back in. Oh my God.
Oh, turns Webster inside out.
Oh, he flattened him now. Now Wolfgang.
Looking to end this one.
And he's looking to powerbomb him. No, he's not. Not out the ring, surely. Oh my God.
Don't call me Shirley, but Webster managed to reverse it.
And he sends him outside. Now the group of people there. And Webster Morgan Flash going up.
He's going flying.
Oh,
a beautiful senton bomb takes down everyone.
Oh, and he's going to throw Wolfgang back in. Go for the cover. 1, 2. Oh.
Wolfgang managing to kick out.
Well, I'm not sure which way this match is going to go. But Morgan Flash Webster now has got hold of Wolfgang. But as he looked for a tag, the Coffey brothers took out Smith and Mandrews. Wolfgang with a spear. And he tags in Joe. And this might be bad for Webster. Oh my God.
Throws him into the discus lariat that turns him inside out. And that is it. Whew. And the Coffee Revolution is a rolling. Well, James, what a war.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was an absolutely brilliant match. It still leaves this open, you know, the Coffee crew kind of got their victory by cheaper means than they should have done. But I think the faces are going to want a lot of retribution, so I don't expect this one to be over just yet.
Yeah, it will be Coffee's Kingdom by the end. Very impressive there by this new team. And my God, like I said, Dan, this is far from over. Well, it was a good show. I think the good matches are more evenly than some of the other UK episodes. I like that they're starting to build grudges and rivalries as well. So we move on to episode 7, November 14th, 2018. It was recorded August 25th, 2018 from Birmingham. So we moved on now from Cambridge to Birmingham. And Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness are on commentary.
Yes, well, we start off at the ring area, and members of the NXT UK Women's Division consisting of Zia Brookside, Millie McKenzie, Isla Dawn, Dakota Kai, Toni Storm, Nina Samuels, Ginny and Rhea Ripley are gathered on the stage. Triple H comes out and introduces Johnny Saint. Saint joins everyone on stage, and Triple H reveals that the 8 women on stage will compete in a tournament to crown the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. Johnny Saint unveils the new title belt, and everyone seems happy with that.
Oh yeah, I mean the title belt looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And it's a big moment. We are going to have a new NXT UK Women's Champion. Match 1 was Sid Scala versus Jordan Devlin.
Yes, and it was a pretty good match. It was short, but Scala had some nice offense, probably because he was announced as being from Birmingham. Devlin was dominant, though, and I've been warming up to him more lately.
You have been. Well, Razzie enters the ring and asks Devlin if we've seen the real Jordan Devlin. Devlin knows who he is and he doesn't care what anybody else thinks. All Devlin sees in the NXT locker room are posers, like the guy in a mask and a cape who thinks he's a luchador, even though he's from Leeds. How dare you, sir?
Well, we get a Picard promo for Tyson T-Bone.
Match 2 is Kenny Williams versus Amir Jordan. Match 2 is Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan versus Saxon Huxley and Joseph Connors.
Well, it's a good match, and I like the team of Jordan and Williams. They're fun, but Connor's impressive and dominant here.
Well, backstage earlier today, Trent Seven said that Zach Gibson is good, but not as good as Trent Seven.
And we go on to match 3, which is Tyler Bate versus James Drake.
Well, great match. This was a fast-paced and hard-hitting. Both guys looked great, and though Bate was certainly the favourite to win, Drake had a really good showing. This was a lot of fun.
And we go on to match 4, which was Ashton Smith versus Wolfgang with the Coffee Brothers.
Well, it was a good match. Smith had some fun, agile moves, but Wolfgang's own agility and power were the dominant force here tonight. These two men match up well together, and I like to see them have another match.
Well, again, this was a good show with some good matches. I kind of wish the women's tournament had at least one match on this episode, though. It seems strange to introduce the title and not see any of the 8 women wrestle.
Yeah, a match tonight, probably Tyler Bate versus James Drake, wasn't it? Because it's the longest match of the night and the most exciting. So let's move on to episode 8 of NXT UK, November 14th, 2018, recorded August 25th, Birmingham again. Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness are your commentators.
Well, the women in the UK women's title tournament are briefly profiled.
Yeah, and we'll see them all in action. Here we are, just about to watch them all. The first match is the UK women's title tournament quarter-final. It's Dakota Kai versus Nina Samuels, and we've just been watching the match.
Well, it's a good quickly, but Samuels hit a few high-impact moves to slow Kai down. After a little while, Kai came back with a series of kicks and strikes, which leads to this nice finish.
There we go. So Kai there, now running through. Oh my God, like a Canadian destroyer type. Goes for the cover, and Samuels is defeated. And I think it's fair because Dakota Kai is probably more well known, isn't she? You know, we've seen her in NXT, and of course in the Mae Young Classic, whooped Seth Rollins' ass on the extra on WWE Network as well. So that is good, Dakota Kai. Are you happy that she's through?
Is Dakota Kai even English?
No, but are you happy she's through?
I am happy she's through, yeah.
A simple match, but it was well done. A good first round match for the tournament.
Radzi is joined by Mark Andrews backstage, and Andrews says he's putting the Coffee Brothers behind him. He's now looking for gold. Flash Morgan Webster walks up and says he wants gold too. Webster suggests that the tag titles would look good around his and Andrews' waists. Andrews likes that idea.
Wow, is that a good idea? I think so. Backstage earlier today, Ashton Smith is interrupted by Eddie Dennis as he tries to conduct an interview. Dennis suggests that they have a match next week. Smith thinks that might be a good idea.
And match 2 is Jake Constantino versus Tyson T-Bone.
It was an absolute squash.
It was indeed. And after the match, Tyson T-Bone wonders if that was the best that NXT UK can offer. T-Bone starts to walk away when Dave Mastiff comes out and heads to the ring for the next match. The two men stare at each other as Mastiff passes by T-Bone.
And what a Mastiff encounter that will be when both men meet each other. But it's Dave Mastiff in action versus Dan Maloney.
It is indeed. And again, this was an absolute squash match. Mastiff absorbed some strikes, then he destroyed Maloney.
My God. Well, backstage, Radzi is joined by Sid Scala. Scala says he needs one more opportunity to prove himself.
After having 5 losses?
Yeah, he only had 5, yeah.
And our next match is the NXT UK Women's Title Tournament quarter-final match, Ginny versus Millie McKenzie.
Yeah, and I am a huge fan of Ginny. So this could be an interesting matchup. It's Ginny versus Millie McKenzie. McKenzie's a blonde, I think.
Yeah, the one with on her blue trunks.
Nailed it. So we're going to see this now, this encounter. See when we haven't seen before, making a stake to be the first ever UK Women's Champion. Of course, we've got 4 quarter-final matches. Oh, my God. And slap there by Ginny. Bit of attitude about her. McKenzie responds over a nice forearm. Irish whip. And a dropkick by McKenzie sends Ginny down. Snapmare. I wonder if, like, the lower... not in lower, but the more further away we get from WWE, the women's matches get even better. So we know we see great women's matches in NXT. Do you think like NXT UK women's matches just like the fucking best in the world, you know?
Well, the RevPro matches haven't been that good.
Well, no, we'll talk about that after this. But, of course, this is episode 8 of NXT UK. And it's been good so far. We're going to watch all the quarterfinal matches of the NXT UK Women's Tournament. As Jenny just hangs up McKenzie on a top turnbuckle. McKenzie kicks out. Jenny is in complete control of McKenzie now. Just tying her up. Mackenzie trying to get back into this. And it's amazing the show, NXT UK, learning all the other names or, trying to implant their wrestlers into it. After all these years doing a podcast, I mean...
And we don't know any of their finishers.
It must be 1,000 wrestlers now that we've kind of learned.
We've actually probably got a good database.
I know, it's unbelievable. And Ginny there...
Very innovative, tying up Millie Mackenzie in some kind of...
It was a kind of crab. And now just riding her as Mackenzie's struggling. She breaks the arm. Fingertips away. She
gets to the bottom rope.
And Jenny pulling Mackenzie's hair as well. That's illegal, ref. Pulls her back in the middle of the ring. Just back rake. Stomp to the back. Goes for the cover. Mackenzie kicking out. Oh my God. Spear by Mackenzie. Takes Ginny down. Goes for the cover. Two.
But Ginny managing to kick out. Very impressive by Mackenzie.
Well, she's got a little bit about her now. Deadlift German.
Folds her up like an accordion. Could this be the end for Ginny?
Well, Ginny's struggling to get to that rope. Second. Folds her inside out. Goes for the cover. One, two.
Oh, but Ginny's still staying in this.
Well, fair play to Ginny. I honestly thought she would be out. Someone getting the shoulder up. And only 18 is Millie's. is Mackenzie, which is so impressive. And Ginny struggling to get up. Using the right. Here comes Mackenzie. Oh! Ginny with the arm drag. Sends Mackenzie in the turnbuckle. Rolls her through. Like a ripcord kick to the face. 2, 3. Job done. Ginny wins there. Very, very impressive. Ginny advances to the semi-finals of the NXT UK Women's Tournament. So, Dan, Ginny wins. What are your thoughts on that match?
I think Millie Mackenzie is certainly a hot prospect in the business. She definitely is going to be a big star one of these days sooner or later.
I was impressed by Ginny. She took a lot of impactful moves there, and she did well. Good match. I wasn't familiar with Mackenzie, but she definitely had to support the crowd. She looked good in the match too. Mackenzie has some nice offense and looks strong, but I really just enjoy how mean Ginny is in the ring. Ginny started slow, but she made up for it with a very strong finish.
Yeah, certainly certainly impressed by both these women here. And again, hopefully they've got a good long future in front of them.
We get a video, a profile of Ligero.
And then Zach Gibson heads to the ring for a match. He gets on the mic before the match and he talks about how good he is. He gets booed mercilessly. He also gets interrupted by Trent Seven's entrance music.
Ooh. Well, match 5 is Zach Gibson versus Trent Seven.
Great match. This was fought very evenly and it felt like either man could win. At times it also felt like neither man would lose. Shenanigans from Tyler Bate and James Drake at ringside ultimately had to be introduced for a winner to be named. Well, after the match, Wolfgang and the Coffey Brothers attacked Trent Seven and Tyler Bate.
Well, this was a very good show. It had a great main event, 2 good women's matches, and a right build-up for Mastiff and T-Bone, and some interesting story bits from multiple groups.
Yes, and the match of the night was definitely Trent Seven versus Zach Gibson. A good match and an interesting plot point for multiple possible feuds.
So that is it for now. We've just watched NXT UK, but tomorrow we will have more NXT UK, RevPro, British News, plus a tribute to the Dynamite Kid. So that is it tomorrow, but that is it. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at WWE Network Review or
at Vince McDan, WWE.
I'm at Jones across all the Google platforms, WWE Network Review and Google+. Send us an email, www.podcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. Come and find our page and give us a like with a WWE Network Review podcast. And come and find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WWE Network Review Podcast. We've got clips on there. Podcasts that will go up on YouTube the same time we do other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
We're also on Spreaker Radio. We've got a live shows coming. We're live January 12th for NXT TakeOver Blackpool. Stitcher Radio and iTunes where you can download, subscribe, rate and review there. I have been James Rowlands and as always I was joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening everybody and bye.
Bye.